Chapter 2156. Not long after, Mo Qingyun and the others arrived at the ancestral tomb and saw Chao Xiong and the others. When they saw the Thousand Moon official, Chao Xiong and the others sneered as if they'd caught prey on the hook. "Everyone, we've been waiting for a long time." Chao Xiong greeted Mo Qingyun and the others with a smile. He wasn't in a hurry to make a move. Those who didn't know what was going on would think he was greeting a good friend. "Please." Before the Thousand Moon official and the others could respond, Chao Xiong made an inviting gesture. Seeing Chao Xiong's performance, the Thousand Moon official and the others looked at each other, not knowing what to do. Chao Xiong's current behavior was far too abnormal for them. They couldn't help but wonder if Chao Xiong's current actions were part of some scheme. Looking at the worried faces of the Thousand Moon official and the others, Chao Xiong smiled disdainfully and explained, "You don't need to worry too much. It's impossible for me to set up an ambush in such a short amount of time. Moreover, it's only disadvantageous for me to let you enter to worship the ancestors. What are you afraid of?" The Thousand Moon official and the others nodded. They couldn't refute this point. "Are you crazy?" Wu Ziheng immediately panicked when he saw Chao Xiong's actions. He angrily rebuked Chao Xiong before continuing. "If they summon their ancestors' remnant spirit, it will be extremely disadvantageous for us." "I don't need you to tell me what to do." Hearing Wu Ziheng's words in his mind, Chao Xiong unhappily replied, "I'm warning you one last time. When I do things in the future, don't tell me what to do. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite and sealing you in my sea of consciousness." Wu Ziheng immediately fell silent when he heard Chao Xiong's rebuke. He didn't dare continue to anger Chao Xiong. He knew full well that Chao Xiong was ruthless and would definitely do something like this. Seeing that Wu Ziheng had calmed down, Chao Xiong's mood improved a little. He comforted Wu Ziheng. "You don't have to worry too much. The strength of the Thousand Moon Mansion's ancestor was only at the early Paramount Saint stage when he was alive. Even if he was still alive, I'm 70% confident I can kill him with this level of cultivation and strength, let alone a mere remnant of his spirit." Under Chao Xiong's comforting words, Wu Ziheng didn't say anything else. It could be considered that he approved of Chao Xiong's actions. Seeing that Wu Ziheng didn't say anything, a cold smile appeared on Chao Xiong's face. "Brat, killing people is nothing more than a nod of the head. Its true pleasure lies not in ending the lives of others, but in torturing them bit by bit, letting them slowly die in despair. Pervert." Hearing Chao Xiong's words, Wu Ziheng couldn't help but curse. He admitted that he couldn't do this. While Chao Xiong and Qian Yuezi were talking, Qian Yuezi saw Chao Xiong's action and immediately tensed up. She said, "Father, Wu Ziheng definitely wouldn't be so kind. There must be some scheme." Hearing Qian Yuezi's reminder, the Thousand Moon Mansion showed a hesitant expression. He turned to look at Mo Qingyun and Chao Xiong. Seeing the Thousand Moon Mansion's look, Mo Qingyun narrowed his eyes slightly and carefully sized up Wu Ziheng. He found that the feeling Wu Ziheng gave him was very similar to the feeling of the three people from the Heavenly Mandate Pavilion. This way, the situation was a little bad. This Wu Ziheng was very difficult to deal with. It should be known that the cultivation of the three people from the Heavenly Mandate Pavilion was only at the middle stage of the Saint stage, while Wu Ziheng's cultivation was at the later stage of the Saint stage. The gap between the two was still very large. Mo Qingyun wasn't confident that he could kill or defeat Wu Ziheng in a fight. More importantly, Mo Qingyun was still unable to confirm whether or not Wu Ziheng had any powerhouses backing him up. This Wu Ziheng is not simple. Don't fall out with him yet. Let me observe for a while. After carefully observing Wu Ziheng, Mo Qingyun found that there was something unusual about him. He said to the Thousand Moon Mansion, "Lord of the Thousand Moon Mansion, the time to worship the ancestors cannot be delayed. Let's go into the ancestral tomb first. We'll take it one step at a time and deal with whatever comes our way." "Okay." Hearing Mo Qingyun's suggestion, the Thousand Moon Mansion nodded and led everyone into the ancestral tomb. Seeing the Thousand Moon Mansion's people enter the ancestral tomb, a middle-aged man beside Chao Xiong asked with a puzzled expression, "Master, since the Thousand Moon Mansion's people are already here, why didn't you just kill them directly? Instead, you let them worship the ancestors? That kid is not simple. I can't see through him yet. Let me observe him first." Hearing the question, Chao Xiong raised his hand and pointed at Mo Qingyun. A trace of fear appeared on his face. Seeing Chao Xiong's action, everyone was puzzled. They all looked at Mo Qingyun. They couldn't see anything unusual about Mo Qingyun. He was clearly a junior in the Nine Heavens Xian immortal realm. But since Chao Xiong said so, no one dared to question him. They believed that Chao Xiong's words made sense. After explaining to everyone, Chao Xiong didn't stay any longer and followed them into the ancestral tomb. Next, both sides had their own ulterior motives and were silently plotting against each other. Retreat. After entering the Thousand Moon Mansion's ancestral tomb, Mo Qingyun removed the illusory formation and revealed the ancestral altar. Now that things had come to this, there was no point in hiding. It was better to worship the ancestors openly. These guys did a good job of keeping secrets. They set up the ancestral altar without anyone knowing. So that kid is a formation master. No wonder the Thousand Moon Mansion is so respectful to him. But that's all there is to it. No matter how good his formation master is, he's only in the Nine Heavens Xian immortal realm. There's nothing to worry about. Seeing Mo Qingyun remove the formation, Wu Ziheng's subordinates looked at him with disdain. After removing the illusory formation, Mo Qingyun nodded at the Thousand Moon Mansion, indicating that they could start worshipping the ancestors. After hinting at the Thousand Moon Mansion, Mo Qingyun walked to the side to prevent Chao Xiong from doing anything untoward. To Mo Qingyun's surprise, the process of worshipping the ancestors went smoothly. Chao Xiong didn't interfere at all. About 2 hours later, dark clouds suddenly gathered in the sky above the Thousand Moon Mansion's ancestral tomb, producing a terrifying aura. After the aura appeared, it condensed into a human figure and floated in front of the Thousand Moon Mansion and the others. "Greetings, Ancestor Tongue Hai." Seeing the shadow in front of them, the Thousand Moon Mansion and the others had a respectful expression and quickly bowed to the shadow. There's no need for formalities. Rise. Seeing the actions of the Thousand Moon Mansion and the others, the remnant spirit of Thousand Moon Tongue Hai waved his hand and said with a dignified expression, "I can't stay for long. If you have any requests, quickly state them." Hearing Qianyue Tongue Hai's words, a hesitant expression appeared on Qianyue Tongue Hai's face. Glancing at Wu Ziheng, he gritted his teeth and said, "Ancestor Tongue Hai, this person colluded with the Dark Devil race and killed our clansman. Please help us kill him and avenge our clansman." "This is bad." Mo Qingyun frowned when he saw the Thousand Moon Mansion's actions. He had a bad feeling about this. The remnant spirit of Thousand Moon Tongue Hai wasn't particularly powerful. It was only on par with Zi Rong and the others. If it was an ordinary mastery Saint Realm expert, the remnant spirit of Thousand Moon Tongue Hai could deal with him. However, Wu Ziheng wasn't an ordinary person. Mo Qingyun had a faint feeling that even ZK might not have been Wu Ziheng's match back then. If that was the case, it would be irrational to let the remnant spirit of Thousand Moon Tongue Hai take action. Mastery Saint Realm. The remnant spirit of Thousand Moon Tongue Hai's expression darkened when he sensed Chao Xiong's cultivation. Seeing the remnant spirit of Thousand Moon Tongue Hai looking at him, a cold smile appeared on Chao Xiong's lips. "Thousand Moon official, it seems like you've really gone senile. Do you think a remnant spirit like him, struggling at death's door, can kill me? How dare you?" The remnant spirit of Thousand Moon Tongue Hai shouted angrily when he saw Chao Xiong's arrogant attitude. He immediately charged at Chao Xiong. Chao Xiong grinned when he saw the remnant spirit of Thousand Moon Tongue Hai charging at him. A mocking sneer appeared on his face. "Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish and make you disappear completely." Great Sun Destroyer Sword. Chao Xiong flipped his palms. Blood-red saint energy immediately gathered in his palms and exploded with a terrifying aura. Chao Xiong waved his arms. Blood-red saint energy poured out and turned into blood-red swords in the blink of an eye. The blood-red swords formed and shot toward Thousand Moon Tonghai, blocking his escape route. So powerful! Thousand Moon Tonghai was shocked when he saw Chao Xiong's attack. He realized the gap between him and his opponent. Judging from the power of Chao Xiong's attack, even at his peak, he was probably only at this level. Mo Qingyun was shocked when he saw Chao Xiong's power. He looked nervous and worried. He said, "Not good. The remnant spirit of Thousand Moon Tonghai is no match for Wu Ziheng. We must help him." Ghost Shadow / Evading Shadow. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, his figure flashed as he drew his sword. Then, 9 Mo Qingyun's doppelgangers slashed at the blood-red swords. Clang, clang, clang. Under the obstruction of Mo Qingyun and his doppelgangers, the blood-red swords were broken one after another, resolving Thousand Moon Tonghai's crisis. Everyone was shocked when they saw Mo Qingyun's attack. They were stunned by Mo Qingyun's performance. Is that kid really a 9 Heavens mysterious immortal? How could he block Master's attack? Even a late-stage Saint Realm expert wouldn't be able to block Master's attack unscathed. It seems that the person who saved the Thousand Moon official must be this young man. This kid hid his skills well. He used his identity as an array master to fool us. We were almost fooled by him. Wu Ziheng's subordinates were shocked when they saw Mo Qingyun's performance. Chao Xiong was shocked when he saw that Mo Qingyun had neutralized his all-out attack. Mo Qingyun's performance really surprised him. Chao Xiong frowned and said in a low voice, "Since you were able to resist an attack of mine with your cultivation at the 9 Heavens mysterious immortal realm, then it looks like you're from a high-level plane as well. Why don't we join forces and rule this plane together in the future?" Chapter 2157. I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you. I'm not from a higher realm. I'm just a small native. Seeing that Chao Xiong had misunderstood his origins, Mo Qingyun shook his head with a faint smile and gave a simple explanation. After making his stance clear, Mo Qingyun turned to the Thousand Moon official and said, "Thousand Moon official, leave this person to me. You take care of the others." The Thousand Moon official's injuries hadn't healed, so he couldn't even use 70% of his strength. He couldn't pose a threat to Chao Xiong. Letting him join in wouldn't be of much use. It was better to let him deal with the others. At least he could suppress them in terms of cultivation level. All right. Hearing Mo Qingyun's orders, the Thousand Moon official immediately nodded and went to deal with Wu Ziheng's subordinates. After giving the Thousand Moon official some instructions, Mo Qingyun turned to Thousand Moon Tonghai and said in a low voice, "Senior, in your current state, you can't fight head-on. You can just assist me from the side. Then I'll have to trouble you, young friend." Thousand Moon Tonghai's remnant spirit responded after hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions. He sighed emotionally and said, "I didn't expect such a prodigy to appear among the heavenly soul demons. I wonder how much fortune he's accumulated." Thousand Moon Tonghai's remnant spirit sighed inwardly. He stopped hesitating and focused his mind. "Kid, since you don't know what's good for you, I'll just have to destroy you." Seeing that Mo Qingyun wasn't willing to cooperate, Chao Xiong's expression darkened, and he released a strong killing intent. He didn't think that Mo Qingyun was telling the truth. He just thought that Mo Qingyun wanted to reject him. After saying this coldly, Chao Xiong formed a hand seal and summoned a small blood-red sword. The moment this blood-red sword appeared, it exuded a terrifying aura, as if it could cut through heaven and earth. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun's expression tensed, and he immediately became vigilant. The strength of this person before him was even more terrifying than he'd imagined. A bunch of lowly ants. Now, I'll show you the difference between you and a higher race. Summoning the blood sword, Chao Xiong sneered as he controlled the blood sword to attack Mo Qingyun and Jian Wushuang. Under Chao Xiong's control, the small blood-red sword immediately created several sword shadows, sealing off Mo Qingyun and the other man's path of retreat. What a powerful swordsmanship! It's even stronger than the War Martyr's 99 Heavenly Demon God-Slayer sword formation. Mo Qingyun's expression froze as he watched the blood-red sword rapidly approach. He became even more fearful of Chao Xiong. While Mo Qingyun was shocked, he did not dare to hesitate and immediately took out the 81 swords. 81 ancient swords were summoned and formed a sword formation to block the attacks of the blood-red sword shadows. Clang, clang, clang. When the ancient sword and the blood-red sword shadow collided, it immediately created a storm of energy and produced a crisp sound. At the same time, the blood-red sword shadow's attack was also blocked by the ancient sword. Not bad. Seeing that his attack had been blocked, Chao Xiong revealed a surprised expression. He said disdainfully, "Your sword formation may be powerful, but the grade of these 81 ancient swords is still a bit too low. They can't stop me." The blood-red sword was like a rainbow, breaking through the heavens and earth. Chao Xiong bit his index finger and forced out a drop of blood essence. He formed a seal with both hands and pointed at the small blood-red sword. The blood essence flew out of his finger and merged with the small blood-red sword, rapidly increasing its power. Instantly, the small blood-red sword's aura increased by several times. Those sword shadows also became solid as they crazily bombarded the 81 ancient swords. Clang, clang, clang. Under the attack of the blood-red sword shadows, the light on the 81 ancient swords immediately dimmed. At this rate, it wouldn't be long before the 81 ancient swords became scrap metal. Seeing the ancient swords being destroyed one after another, Mo Qingyun frowned and couldn't help but sigh inwardly. The grade of these 81 ancient swords is indeed a bit too low. They can't be used to fight head-on. Mo Qingyun sighed and waved his arm, retrieving the 81 ancient swords. After dealing with the 1,000 illusions, I have to find a suitable time to refine the 81 ancient swords. After retrieving the 81 ancient swords, Mo Qingyun silently planned in his heart. He had no intention of abandoning them. As the 81 swords were retrieved, the blood-red sword shadows madly attacked Mo Qingyun and Chao Xiong. "Young friend Mo, be careful." Seeing the blood-red ancient swords attacking, the Thousand Moon soaring sea remnant spirit's expression trembled and hurriedly warned Mo Qingyun. After the Thousand Moon soaring sea remnant spirit's words, he no longer hesitated and immediately punched at the blood-red sword shadows. Soaring dragon cloud sky, overturning fist. When the Thousand Moon soaring sea remnant spirit punched out, Saint energy immediately gathered on his fist and turned into an ice-blue dragon shadow. When the dragon shadow was formed, it met the blood-red sword shadows head-on and blocked their attack. Crack, crack, crack. However, it didn't take long before cracks began to appear on the surface of the icy blue dragon shadow fist, as if an ice sculpture had cracked. Bang! Not long after, the dragon shadow fist burst apart and turned back into balls of saint energy. Seeing this scene, the Thousand Moon soaring sea remnant spirit was shocked and said with an incredulous expression, How is this possible? He's just a late Saint Realm expert. How can his combat strength be so strong? Even a perfect Saint Realm expert is not as strong as him." While the Thousand Moon soaring sea remnant spirit was shocked, Mo Qingyun frowned and faintly found something wrong. He thought to himself, in the battle, the purity and degree of condensation of the saint energy that he is using is several levels higher than the Thousand Moon soaring sea remnant spirit. It seems like the cultivation techniques in the higher planes are much stronger than the cultivation techniques in the wild continent. After Mo Qingyun understood the reason behind this, he no longer hesitated and once again joined the battle. In the current state of the Thousand Moon soaring sea remnant spirit, he could not fight for a long time. So, Mo Qingyun had to share the burden. Heavenly Demon Star, splitting palm. Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and appeared in front of the Thousand Moon soaring sea remnant spirit. He decisively punched out. The rampaging fortune energy gathered on his palm and turned into a giant black palm in the blink of an eye. Mo Qingyun flipped his hand, and the giant black palm was like a giant shield, colliding with the blood-red sword shadows. Bang, bang, bang. Under the intense collision, a series of noises could be heard from the surface of the huge black palm. At the same time, the blood-red sword shadows that collided with the giant black palm disintegrated one after another. In just a short while, Chao Xiong's all-out attack was once again neutralized by Mo Qingyun. Chao Xiong's face darkened when he saw his all-out attack being neutralized by Mo Qingyun again. He said, "Boy, I underestimated your combat strength. However, the battle should end now." As soon as Chao Xiong finished speaking, he formed a hand seal and activated the Thousand Moon Mansion's Great Protective Array. Seeing Chao Xiong's action, the Thousand Moon official and the others tensed up, and their faces turned pale. "Oh no!" Wu Ziheng activated the Great Protective Array. "We're in a bad situation. The Great Protective Array's offensive power is comparable to a Mastery Saint Stage expert. This is a disaster for us. Wu Ziheng, you despicable boy. If you're so capable, fight us head-on." The Thousand Moon official panicked when he saw the Great Protective Array being activated. He kept cursing Chao Xiong. When the Thousand Moon official and the others shouted angrily, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly. He hurriedly said to the Thousand Moon official and the others, "Everyone, retreat with me immediately. I'll bring you to a safe place where we can avoid the attacks of the Thousand Moon Mansion's Great Protective Array." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he unleashed his full strength and continuously blocked the attacks of the Great Protective Array. When they heard Mo Qingyun's words, the Thousand Moon official and the others did not dare to hesitate. They immediately followed Mo Qingyun out of the ancestral tomb. Trying to escape? Do you think you can escape? When Chao Xiong saw that Mo Qingyun and the others were about to retreat, he smiled coldly and chased after Mo Qingyun and the others. When he saw Chao Xiong chasing after him, Mo Qingyun's expression tensed up. He felt an unprecedented sense of danger. Even when he was facing ZK and the others in the Shaman faction's ancestral tomb, he did not feel such danger. It cannot be helped. Back then, he was the one who controlled the Great Protective Array in the Shaman faction's ancestral tomb. But now, the situation had been completely reversed. How could his situation be any better? This is not good. If this goes on, none of them will be able to escape. When he saw the situation Mo Qingyun and the others were in, the Thousand Moon Soaring Sea Remnant Spirit's expression tensed up. He was extremely worried. Then, the Thousand Moon Soaring Sea Remnant Spirit gritted his teeth and made a difficult decision. He said, "Little friend Mo, I'll cover your retreat. You take everyone and retreat immediately. The future of the Thousand Moon Mansion is in your hands." When the Thousand Moon Soaring Sea Remnant Spirit finished speaking, he no longer hesitated and immediately ignited the power of his remnant spirit. Then, the aura of the Thousand Moon Soaring Sea Remnant Spirit skyrocketed. In a short while, the strength of the Thousand Moon Soaring Sea Remnant Spirit skyrocketed to the Great Perfection Sage Realm. Ancestor. When the Thousand Moon official and the others saw the Thousand Moon Soaring Sea Remnant Spirit's actions, they immediately understood and felt a sense of grief and indignation. The Thousand Moon Soaring Sea Remnant Spirit was igniting the last of his strength to escort them out of danger. This kind of action was too noble. He's a respectable person. When he saw the Thousand Moon Soaring Sea Remnant Spirit's actions, Mo Qingyun's face was filled with admiration. Then, his expression turned solemn as he said, "Senior, don't worry. I, Mo Qingyun, promise you that I'll definitely bring them out of here safely." When Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he led the Thousand Moon official and the others away to meet up with King Devourer and the others. "Thank you, little friend." When he heard Mo Qingyun's promise, the Thousand Moon Soaring Sea Remnant Spirit expressed his gratitude and rushed toward Chao Xiong. Looking at his posture, it seemed like he wanted to take Chao Xiong down with him, destroying jade and common stone alike. Boom! Not long after Mo Qingyun and the others left, a loud explosion was heard. It was the thousand moons soaring sea remnant spirit's self-destruction. When they heard that the thousand moon soaring sea remnant spirit had self-destructed, the thousand moon official and the others' hearts sank. Chapter 2158. Mr. M.O. Wu Ziheng has activated the protective formation. Can we really escape? Knowing the power of the protective formation, the thousand moon official couldn't help but worry as he retreated. Hearing the thousand moon official's words, the others' faces darkened as they had the same thought. Seeing the reactions of the thousand moon official and the others, M.O. Qingyun's expression was solemn as he comforted them. Everyone, there's no need to be discouraged or worried. When I entered the Thousand Moon Mansion, I controlled a small part of the formation. As long as we enter that area, the protective formation won't be able to threaten us. Hearing M.O. Qingyun's words, the Thousand Moon official and the others' eyes lit up as their will to live was reignited. This news was too unexpected for them. Facing the impact of the Thousand Moon soaring sea remnant spirit's self-destruction, Chao Xiong immediately bit his finger and forced out 9 drops of blood essence. Sword piercing the 9 heavens, destroying all techniques. The 9 drops of blood essence flew out of his finger and turned into 9 small blood-colored swords, blooming with sword chi light. The sword chi light bloomed and immediately turned into 9 shadows of sword chi, slashing down in all directions. Under the bombardment of the 9 shadows of sword chi, the storm caused by the self-destruction of the thousand moon soaring sea remnant spirit was dispelled like a haze by the scorching sun. You can't escape. After dispelling the storm, Chao Xiong's figure flashed and turned into a stream of light as he chased after them. Chao Xiong's figure flashed a few times and caught up to M.O. Qingyun and the others. He struck out a palm at M.O. Qingyun and the others. A violent surge of saint power gathered in Chao Xiong's palm and condensed into blood-colored sword shadows. Seeing Chao Xiong quickly catching up to them, the Thousand Moon official and the others trembled as panic appeared on their faces. With their strength, if Chao Xiong caught up to them, they would only end up being slaughtered. Linglong, take everyone to meet up with the King Devourer. I'll cover your retreat. Seeing Chao Xiong's attack getting closer and closer, M.O. Qingyun's expression turned solemn as he instructed Qian Linglong beside him. Hearing M.O. Qingyun's words, Qian Linglong's pretty face tensed up. Her eyes flashed with worry. She knew very well that with M.O. Qingyun's strength alone, it would be very difficult for him to defeat Chao Xiong. Be careful. I'll bring them over and then come back to help you. Qian Linglong hesitated for a moment. Then she bit her lip, turned around, and left with the Thousand Moon official and the others. Although she was worried about M.O. Qingyun, she also knew that the Thousand Moon official and the others would be a burden if they stayed. Only by taking away the Thousand Moon official and the others could M.O. Qingyun fight Chao Xiong to the death without any worries. Seeing that Qian Linglong and the others had left, M.O. Qingyun's expression relaxed. He flipped his palm and took out the tiger soul. Ghostly slash. M.O. Qingyun took out the tiger soul and swung it at Chao Xiong. Immediately, 9 doppelgangers appeared. 9 doppelgangers appeared beside M.O. Qingyun and blocked Chao Xiong's blood-colored sword with M.O. Qingyun. Clang, clang, clang. M.O. Qingyun and the doppelgangers shattered the blood-colored sword with a series of crisp clangs and powerful shockwaves. When the shockwaves exploded, the 9 doppelgangers all dissipated, revealing M.O. Qingyun's true body. Seeing M.O. Qingyun's true body appear, Chao Xiong's eyes flashed with mockery. He looked at M.O. Qingyun with disdain. Kid, I admit that you're very capable. If we were at the same level, I might not be your match. But your current level is too low. M.O. Qingyun was silent at Chao Xiong's words. He didn't refute Chao Xiong's words. If he had the cultivation of the Saint Realm, even if Chao Xiong came from a higher realm, he could still easily kill him. In the end, his cultivation was too low, and he hadn't accumulated enough strength. Power. Thinking of his own lack of power, M.O. Qingyun couldn't help but clench his fists. A strong sense of urgency welled up within him. If he had enough power, he wouldn't have had to wait all this time. He could have killed his way into the dark demon's lair. Since you're staying to die, I'll fulfill your wish. After mocking Mo Qingyun, Chao Xiong didn't waste any time and immediately attacked Mo Qingyun. Suddenly, 17 spots of light with monstrous auras appeared on Chao Xiong's body. Then, 17 terrifying bursts of saint power erupted from the spots of light and poured into the blood-colored dagger. Then, the aura of the small blood-red sword increased by several times. He's still hiding his strength. Seeing Chao Xiong's performance, Mo Qingyun's expression trembled. He was somewhat surprised. He had to admit that Chao Xiong was the most terrifying opponent he'd ever met since he started cultivating. Even in the ancestral tomb of the Shaman clan, someone as powerful as ZK couldn't compare to Chao Xiong. Kid die. After pouring the power of the 17 spots of light into the dagger, Chao Xiong pointed at Mo Qingyun. Then, the dagger shone brightly and formed a huge sword ray that slashed at Mo Qingyun. So powerful. Seeing the power of Chao Xiong's attack, Mo Qingyun was shocked. His expression immediately tensed up. The power of his attack had already surpassed the level of a Mastery Saint stage. While Mo Qingyun was shocked, Chao Xiong didn't flinch at all. Instead, he wore a determined expression. He knew that he couldn't dodge. The moment he dodged, the Thousand Moon official and the others behind him would be instantly killed by the sword. With Qian Yuezi and the others' strength, if they were hit by this attack, their souls would be destroyed. He had promised Qian Yutengai that he would protect the people of Thousand Moon Mansion with all his might. How would he back down now? Power of creation, Saint Demon Star, shattering fist. Fire of civilization, Heavenly Demon Star, shattering palm. Fire of civilization, Heavenly Sun, star, piercing pupil. For a moment, Mo Qingyun used all of his superpowers without holding back. Fist rays, palm shadows, eye rays, and all kinds of superpowers blasted toward the sword ray. Seeing Mo Qingyun's full strength, Chao Xiong was shocked. Surprise appeared on his face as he said, That's the fire of civilization. This kid actually activated the fire of civilization. Could it be that he's the master of civilization of this realm? Chao Xiong noticed this and sneered. Kid, no wonder you weren't willing to work with me. So you're the master of civilization of this realm. But with your current strength, I'm afraid no one is willing to submit to you, right? Chao Xiong paused, and the viciousness on his face intensified. To be honest, I, Chao Xiong, have killed countless people in my life, but I've never killed a master of civilization. I really don't know how it feels to kill a master of civilization. It must be wonderful. After saying this, Chao Xiong's hands moved quickly, forming a series of strange hand seals. As soon as these handprints appeared, they flew into the small blood-red sword at an extremely fast speed, causing the small blood-red sword's aura to increase abruptly. Boom! At this moment, the sword ray, fist ray, palm shadow, and eye rays all clashed together. As the terrifying attacks collided, a shocking explosion sounded out, creating an apocalyptic storm of energy. In order to protect the people behind him, Mo Qingyun didn't choose to dodge or flee as the storm of energy approached him. Boom! The storm of energy slammed into Mo Qingyun's body, producing a terrifying force that made Mo Qingyun feel as if he had been struck by a continent. Then, Mo Qingyun felt his qi and blood roil. It was like a raging wave had been set off in his body. Puff! As his qi and blood roiled, Mo Qingyun's mouth leaked blood. His face paled. If it wasn't for his strong physical body, his soul would have been destroyed by the impact of this storm of strength. Even so, Mo Qingyun was heavily injured. He only had 70% of his strength left. What a strong body. He took the storm head-on and only suffered some light injuries. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Chao Xiong was shocked. Then, greed appeared in his eyes. This kid's body is stronger than some saint bodies. If I can take over his body, my strength will definitely surpass my previous life. Thinking of this, Chao Xiong became excited. He couldn't wait to attack Mo Qingyun. Brat, you won't be able to escape. Just surrender obediently. Chao Xiong's body turned into a stream of light. He arrived in a flash and grabbed at Mo Qingyun. As Chao Xiong waved his hand, a burst of saint power erupted from his palm and turned into sword shadows. When these sword shadows appeared, they blocked Mo Qingyun's path of retreat, forming a sword shadow prison. I can't escape. Looking at the rapidly approaching Chao Xiong, Mo Qingyun's expression tensed. He felt a sense of urgency. Although Mo Qingyun's heart was heavy, he didn't panic. His heart was still as calm as ever. Fire of civilization, imperial seal, killing spirit eye. Looking at Chao Xiong, who was close at hand, Mo Qingyun's eyes flashed. A beam of light shot out from his left eye. Then, a terrifying wave of heat blasted out from Mo Qingyun's left eye, forming a flame mark. Once the flame mark formed, it disappeared in a flash and blasted into Chao Xiong's mind. Chao Xiong didn't expect Mo Qingyun to have such a powerful trump card at a time like this. Caught off guard. Chao Xiong's mind was heavily injured. He couldn't help but cry out in pain. Then his attack on Mo Qingyun paused. Go Shadow Slash. After winning with one strike, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate at all. He immediately swung Tiger Soul at Chao Xiong. To Mo Qingyun, the best defense was offense. He couldn't let go of such a good opportunity to counterattack. Mo Qingyun's figure flashed. Immediately, 9 afterimages appeared and attacked Chao Xiong together. Although Chao Xiong's mind was heavily injured, his consciousness still had a trace of clarity. He immediately noticed Mo Qingyun's attack. Seeing Mo Qingyun approaching, Chao Xiong's expression immediately twisted. He gnashed his teeth and roared, "Kid, you're courting death." Chapter 21:59. Great Silence God-Slayer Sword. Chao Xiong struck out with his palm. A dark light flashed on his palm as saint power gathered wildly. In a short moment, the sinister saint power transformed into a huge black blood sword. The huge black blood sword shot out from Chao Xiong's palm and slashed toward Mo Qingyun and the doppelgangers. Under the attack of the black blood sword, the 6 doppelgangers were instantly destroyed and turned into waves of creation power. When the 6 doppelgangers were destroyed, Mo Qingyun and the remaining 3 doppelgangers came to Chao Xiong's side. Puff, puff, puff. Mo Qingyun came to Chao Xiong's side, and the blade light from the doppelgangers landed on Chao Xiong's body. Then, Chao Xiong's body flew backward and landed heavily on the ground. After being heavily injured by Mo Qingyun again, Chao Xiong spat out a mouthful of blood and his face paled. When Mo Qingyun sent Chao Xiong flying, Qian Linglong and the King Devourer rushed over and stopped by Mo Qingyun's side. To advanced Saint Realm experts, seeing Qian Linglong and the King Devourer arrive, Chao Xiong's expression immediately turned grave. He didn't dare attack Mo Qingyun again. Now, he only had half of his peak strength left. It wasn't wise to continue fighting. In his current state, it would be difficult for him to deal with Mo Qingyun alone, let alone Mo Qingyun and the other 2. Kid, just you wait. You can't escape from me. After thinking through the pros and cons, Chao Xiong didn't want to stay any longer and left after throwing down a threat. He'd been careless this time. If they fought again, Mo Qingyun wouldn't be so lucky. Whoosh! Seeing Chao Xiong escape, Mo Qingyun let out a deep breath and didn't chase after him. He'd been able to injure Chao Xiong this time because Chao Xiong had been arrogant and didn't understand him. The next time they fought, the situation would not be so optimistic. It would be difficult to heavily injure Chao Xiong. After all, if they fought again, Chao Xiong would definitely be on guard against his eyes and not give him a chance to sneak attack. Has everyone settled down? Mo Qingyun calmed himself down and turned to Qian Linglong to ask about everyone's situation. Yes. When Qian Linglong heard Mo Qingyun's question, she nodded and said, "Settle down, the people of the Thousand Moon Mansion. We were worried about your safety, so we rushed over. How are your injuries?" "It's fine." Hearing Qian Linglong's question, Mo Qingyun shook his head and turned around. "Let's go back first. I need to hurry up and recover. If nothing unexpected happens, Once Chao Xiong recovers, he will definitely attack again. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he took the lead and flew forward to meet up with the Thousand Moon official and the others. After a while, Mo Qingyun met up with the Thousand Moon official and the others and arrived at the courtyard where the Thousand Moon official was temporarily staying. "Mr. Mo, what's the situation? Has Chao Xiong been defeated?" Seeing Mo Qingyun in the courtyard, the Thousand Moon official had a nervous expression and hurriedly asked Mo Qingyun. Hearing the Thousand Moon official's question, the surrounding people of the Thousand Moon Mansion all looked at Mo Qingyun nervously. Under everyone's nervous gazes, Mo Qingyun nodded and said with a solemn expression, "Chao Xiong was injured by me because of his carelessness during our fight. He probably won't attack again for a while. Take advantage of this time and quickly move the other people here. I'll go now." Hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Qian Yuehong did not dare to delay and immediately went to make the arrangements. He was very clear about the meaning of Mo Qingyun's words. Mo Qingyun wanted them to do this to prevent the other people of the Thousand Moon Mansion from being captured by Chao Xiong and used to threaten everyone. "Mr. Mo, you're injured?" The Thousand Moon official and Mo Qingyun exchanged a few words. He noticed that something was wrong with Mo Qingyun and asked with a nervous and concerned expression, "How are your injuries? Are they serious?" "They're not serious." Mo Qingyun waved his hand and gestured for everyone not to worry. He said, "I need to go into seclusion to heal my injuries. Before I come out, don't fight with Chao Xiong." "Okay." Hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, the Thousand Moon official immediately nodded and noted down Mo Qingyun's words. He knew that without Mo Qingyun's help, with their strength, they would only end up being slaughtered by Chao Xiong. After instructing the Thousand Moon official and the others, Mo Qingyun did not waste any more time. He walked into a room to heal his injuries. Seeing that Mo Qingyun had entered the room, Qian Linglong and the King Devourer stood guard outside the room for Mo Qingyun. As for Yin Peng and the other two, they were still breaking the array and trying to take control of the Thousand Moon Mansion's protective array as quickly as possible. In the following time, the other people of the Thousand Moon Mansion were transferred over one after another. Although there were some obstacles along the way, they managed to get through them without any mishaps. After a few hours, with Qian Yuehong and the others moving with all their might, all the people were transferred over. The Thousand Moon official and the others could finally relax when they saw all of their clansmen moving over. Then, the Thousand Moon official and the others patiently waited for Mo Qingyun to finish healing his injuries. In the small room, wisps of pure medicinal energy were extracted from the medicinal crystals and were absorbed into Mo Qingyun's body. When the medicinal energy entered Mo Qingyun's body, it seeped into his meridians and nourished his internal organs. Gradually, Mo Qingyun's injuries began to heal. As Mo Qingyun's injuries healed, the aura that he exuded continued to rise. Just like that, Mo Qingyun cultivated for 5 consecutive days. Finally, his injuries were completely healed. After 5 days of continuous cultivation, Mo Qingyun's aura was obviously much stronger than before. Peak of the 9 Heavens, Xian Immortal Realm. After withdrawing from his cultivation, Mo Qingyun sensed his cultivation and a look of surprise appeared on his face. He didn't expect that in these 5 days of cultivation and recuperation, his cultivation would actually improve by leaps and bounds. With my current state, I can already break through to the 2nd level of the 9 Heavens, Xian Immortal Realm. After sensing his current state, Mo Qingyun's face flashed with anticipation. He could not wait to break through. However, when he thought of his current situation, his expression dimmed and he could not help but sigh. With the current situation, it's impossible to break through. Looks like I can only wait until Wu Ziheng is dealt with. There was no other way. If Chao Xiong suddenly attacked while he was breaking through, it would be troublesome. Although the Thousand Language Mansion's defensive formation was powerful, it could not suppress Chao Xiong and prevent him from attacking. Although I can't break through, I can still stabilize my cultivation before Wu Ziheng attacks. Mo Qingyun pondered for a moment. Then he entered into cultivation again and condensed his immortal spiritual energy. Chapter 2160. If I were to refine my immortal spiritual power and creation power to Wu Ziheng's level, my combat strength would definitely increase greatly. While Mo Qingyun was condensing his immortal spiritual energy, an idea suddenly flashed through his mind, and he had a bold idea. As soon as this idea appeared in his mind, Mo Qingyun didn't waste any more time and immediately tried it out. Under Mo Qingyun's refinement, the purity of his immortal spiritual power and creation power started to increase bit by bit. However, the extent of the increase disappointed Mo Qingyun. The change wasn't particularly big. After all, he had already refined the immortal spiritual energy and the power of creation during his usual cultivation. No, Wu Ziheng's method of refining his saint power is definitely not the same as mine. Seeing the progress of his cultivation, Mo Qingyun quickly concluded that his cultivation method was wrong. Realizing that his method was wrong, Mo Qingyun didn't waste any more time refining his immortal spiritual power and creation power. Where exactly is the problem? Mo Qingyun had a pensive look on his face. His mind spun quickly as he tried to find a reason behind this. At this moment, while Mo Qingyun was thinking, the Qianyu official rushed out of the house and reported to Qian Linglong and the Qianyu official. Holy Maiden, something bad has happened. Wu Ziheng has brought people here. The protective array can no longer stop him. Hearing the Thousand Moon official's report, Qian Linglong frowned and hesitated whether she should tell Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun's cultivation hadn't ended yet. She didn't know if Mo Qingyun's injuries had healed yet. What if Mo Qingyun's injuries hadn't healed and he was still recuperating? Wouldn't it be bad if she disturbed him? Seeing Qian Linglong's expression, the King Devourer guessed her thoughts and said, "Mistress, don't worry. Master has already sent me a voice transmission. His injuries have already healed." Good. After learning about Mo Qingyun's situation, Qian Linglong relaxed and told Mo Qingyun about Chao Xiong's attack. After hearing Qian Linglong's message, Mo Qingyun stopped pondering. He got up and walked out of the room. Let's go. Since Wu Ziheng and the others are here, let's go meet them. Mo Qingyun arrived outside the house and informed Qian Linglong and the others. Then he strode forward. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Qian Linglong and the others did not hesitate and quickly followed behind Mo Qingyun. Before long, Mo Qingyun arrived in front of Chao Xiong's group, escorted by the crowd. Seeing Mo Qingyun not far away, Chao Xiong's expression darkened. He coldly said, "Last time, this old man was careless and allowed you to luckily injure me. You won't have another chance this time." Hearing Chao Xiong's words, the corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth curled up. He nonchalantly retorted, "My apologies. Last time, when I fought you, I was also careless and allowed you to injure me." What a sharp tongue. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Chao Xiong's face darkened and his aura rapidly rose. At the same time, terrifying specks of light blossomed from Chao Xiong's body. Before long, the number of specks of light reached 22, 5 more than last time. Seeing the increase in specks of light, Mo Qingyun's expression shook and his heart sank. When he fought with Chao Xiong last time, he could already tell that these specks of light were the manifestation of Chao Xiong's strength. 22 specks of light. Mo Qingyun's brows furrowed tightly. He lightly bit his lips and guessed, if nothing goes wrong, Wu Ziheng's current strength might be 20% stronger than before. Now, he's even harder to deal with. Just as Mo Qingyun's heart sank, Chao Xiong guessed his thoughts. With a smug sneer, he said, "Kid, to be honest, this old man has to thank you properly. If it weren't for the fact that I was heavily injured by you last time, my cultivation wouldn't have improved." As expected, hearing Chao Xiong's words, Mo Qingyun's guess was confirmed. After not seeing him for a few days, Chao Xiong's strength had indeed improved. Knowing that Chao Xiong's strength had increased, Mo Qingyun's expression turned serious. He said to Qian Linglong and Qian Linglong beside him, "Wu Ziheng's strength is even stronger than before. In the next fight, don't go head-to-head with him. Try to find out how he condenses his saint power. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, it would be much easier to deal with Chao Xiong if they found out how he condensed his saint power. If Qian Linglong and Qian Linglong used this method to condense the saint power in their bodies, their combat strength would at least double. Okay, hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Qian Linglong and Qian Linglong immediately nodded. They understood what Mo Qingyun meant. While Mo Qingyun and the others were talking, Chao Xiong pointed his finger and summoned the blood-red dagger. The Great Silence Sword. Chao Xiong summoned his natal blood sword. He bit his finger and forced a drop of essence blood into the blood sword. Instantly, the blood-red dagger's light shone brightly. It blossomed into a huge blood-red sword light. Once the blood-red sword light was formed, it slashed toward Mo Qingyun and the others with an indestructible stance. All of you back off. In the face of Chao Xiong's attack, Mo Qingyun instructed the two girls and charged toward the blood-red sword light. Mo Qingyun's figure flashed as he struck out with his palm. Terrifying flames surged on his palm. A huge flaming palm blasted out from Mo Qingyun's hand toward the blood-red sword light. Bam! The blood-red sword light and the black palm collided. A loud sound immediately rang out, creating a destructive shockwave. Seeing the shockwave sweeping toward them, Mo Qingyun and the others all retreated, escaping the shockwave's area of effect. Crack, crack, crack. As the shockwave raged, cracks appeared on the blood-red sword light and the black palm. Soon, the blood-red sword light and the black palm collapsed and slowly dissipated into the air. Seeing that Mo Qingyun had withstood his all-out attack, Chao Xiong's expression was slightly shocked. Kid, I didn't expect your strength to increase so much in just a few days. This is a bit surprising, but it's still useless. As soon as Chao Xiong finished speaking, he pointed his right index and middle finger at the blood-red dagger in front of him. Then, the blood-red dagger shone brightly again, creating numerous blood-red sword shadows that formed a powerful sword formation. Then, the blood-red sword shadows covered the sky and bombarded Mo Qingyun and the others. Devour heaven and earth. 1,000 floating flowers. Facing the blood-red sword shadows, Qian Linglong and the heaven-devouring Dragon Emperor didn't hesitate. They immediately attacked the sword formation. Shadow Dragon Transformation. When Qian Linglong and Qian Linglong attacked, Mo Qingyun let out an angry roar. His body expanded rapidly. Soon, Mo Qingyun turned into a shadow dragon. His aura skyrocketed. Fire of civilization. Saint Demon Star Shattering Fist. Mo Qingyun turned into a shadow dragon. He clenched his dragon claws and punched at the blood-red sword shadows. A fist shadow that was like a blazing sun blasted out from Mo Qingyun's fist and blocked the blood-red sword shadow. Clang, 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 the blood-red sword shadows slammed into the fist-like shadow. Immediately, cracks appeared on the fist-like shadow. Soon, the fist-like shadow was defeated. It turned into a ball of fire of civilization and slowly dissipated into the air. Seeing that his all-out attack had rendered Mo Qingyun and the others powerless, Chao Xiong's sneer deepened. Kid, it's useless to resist. You should just surrender. Wu Ziheng's strength has reached the level of saint perfection. With my current strength, I can't stop him at all. Mo Qingyun's expression tightened when he saw the strength Chao Xiong had displayed. His mind spun rapidly as he thought, if we continue fighting, we'll be killed one by one. The only way to change the current situation is for me to break through. I'll do it. With that thought, Mo Qingyun clenched his teeth and made a difficult decision. Although it was very dangerous to break through in this situation, he had no other choice. Linglong, King Devourer, hold him back for a moment. After instructing the two women, Mo Qingyun retreated from the battlefield and flew to the side to break through. Qingyun is going to break through. The two of us will hold him back. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Qian Linglong's pretty face tensed. She immediately instructed the King Devourer. Hearing Qian Linglong's words, The king devourer immediately understood. A look of determination appeared on his face. Back in the shaman faction's ancestral tomb, Mo Qingyun had risked his life to protect her. Now that Mo Qingyun was in danger, it was time for her to repay him. She had to protect him even if she had to give up her life. Immediately, Qian Linglong and the king devourer used all their strength to hold back Chao Xiong. Although Chao Xiong was held back by the two women's desperate attacks, the situation couldn't be maintained for long. Mr. Mo, he's breaking through. He's crazy. Young Master Mo, we have no other choice. Only in this way can we have the strength to fight. Mr. Mo is doing this to protect us. Everyone, we must protect him. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, the Thousand Moon official and the others were shocked, but they all looked determined. Immediately, everyone began to fight with their lives to protect Mo Qingyun from breaking through. Holy Lady, let me help you. Seeing the situation before him, the Thousand Moon official ignored his injuries and immediately went to help Qian Linglong and the other woman. With the Thousand Moon official joining the battle, the pressure on Qian Linglong and the other woman lessened. However, they still couldn't suppress Chao Xiong. With Chao Xiong's terrifying battle strength, it was only a matter of time before Qian Linglong and the other two were defeated. Qian Linglong and the others couldn't do anything about this situation. All they could do now was try their best to stall for time until Mo Qingyun broke through. As Mo Qingyun tried to break through, he abandoned all distracting thoughts and focused on channeling his immortal spiritual force to break through the barrier. Outer realm, inner realm? What's the difference in cultivation? Just as he was about to break through to the next realm, a flash of inspiration suddenly appeared in his mind, and he came to a complete realization. Chapter 2161. The inner realm is just an ordinary continent, while the outer realm has an endless galaxy. Mo Qingyun found his train of thought. The more he thought about it, the more he realized the difference between the two. Suddenly, Mo Qingyun's body shook as if he had been struck by lightning. Galaxy? Astral power? I understand now. So that's how it is. Mo Qingyun's heart raced as he got excited. He had discovered a shocking secret. If I'm not mistaken, the cultivation method of the Wasteland continent has already gone in the wrong direction after the Golden Immortal Realm. If he hadn't seen Chao Xiong and the others, Mo Qingyun wouldn't have realized that something was wrong. However, after seeing Chao Xiong and the others, he realized that something was wrong. His previous cultivation had already gone astray. If he continued to cultivate like this, his cultivation would definitely reach a bottleneck, and he wouldn't be able to advance to a higher level. This was probably why there hadn't been any galaxy-grade powerhouses on the Wasteland continent. Of course, Mo Qingyun didn't have complete confidence that this was the case. Success or failure will depend on this. After Mo Qingyun calmed himself down, he sent his consciousness out of his body and directly soared beyond the 9 heavens. As Mo Qingyun's consciousness wandered out of the Wasteland continent, he immediately discovered that many stars had appeared within his sensing range. When Mo Qingyun discovered these stars, he observed the circulation of their power and tried to condense his immortal spiritual power like this. As Mo Qingyun condensed his immortal spiritual power quickly gathered and slowly turned into a ball of light. However, at the final stage of the condensation, he encountered some obstacles and couldn't reach Chao Xiong's level. It's still lacking a little. Could it be because of my cultivation level? Mo Qingyun frowned when he saw that the condensation of his immortal spiritual power was hindered. Just as Mo Qingyun was feeling puzzled, a familiar yet unfamiliar power suddenly emerged in his body. This is the power of the creation gate. Sensing this mysterious power, Mo Qingyun's heart shook, and a look of pleasant surprise appeared on his face. Ever since the gate of destiny shattered and merged with his body, there had been no obvious changes. Who would have thought that it would suddenly grow in his body and help him condense star clusters? With the help of the Gate of Fortune, the immortal spiritual energy that was obstructing the condensation of the immortal spiritual energy disappeared without a trace. Not long after, a star cluster was condensed, and the aura it exuded increased by several times. Success. Mo Qingyun's expression changed as he sensed the completed star cluster in his body. His expression became excited. He had succeeded. This meant that his deduction was correct. Although he thought so just now, he had not tested it after all, so he did not have absolute confidence that it would succeed. With the results of this condensation, it was clear that his previous conjecture was correct. Luckily, I have the help of the Gate of Fortune. Otherwise, I might not have succeeded on my first try. Thinking about the process just now, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but sigh and feel lucky. If not for the help of the Gate of Fortune, his attempt might not have succeeded. Seeing that the first star cluster was condensed, Mo Qingyun could not wait to condense the second star cluster. With the help of the Gate of Fortune, the condensation of the second star cluster was very smooth, and it was condensed successfully in a short while. Following the successful condensation of the second star cluster, Mo Qingyun's cultivation also broke through to the second level of the Nine Heavens Xian Immortal Realm. Mo Qingyun's cultivation caused a great commotion, so Chao Xiong sensed it as soon as his cultivation broke through. Star cluster. Seeing the two spots of light outside Mo Qingyun's body, Chao Xiong was immediately shocked. His eyes widened as he exclaimed, "Impossible! He's only a Nine Heavens Xian Immortal. How can he condense a star cluster?" Mo Qingyun's current performance was too inconceivable to Chao Xiong. Qingyun succeeded. Seeing Chao Xiong's shocked expression, Qian Linglong's face lit up, and a brilliant smile appeared on her face. The man she had her eyes on was indeed not an ordinary person. Master succeeded. His talent can't be judged by common sense. Mr. Mo has broken through. We're saved. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, King Devourer and Qin Yu official were also excited. While Qian Linglong and the others were overjoyed, Chao Xiong's expression turned ugly. He gnashed his teeth in anger and said, "Brat, no matter how you succeeded, you can't change your fate. All of you will die today." As soon as Chao Xiong finished speaking, his attacks became even more ruthless, causing Qian Linglong and the others to be surrounded by danger. Mo Qingyun knew nothing about the situation Qian Linglong and the others were in. He was still immersed in his cultivation. After successfully condensing the second star cluster, Mo Qingyun tried to condense the third, but the result disappointed him. No matter how hard he tried, he could not condense any more star clusters. It was as if this was his limit. That's right. If I can't condense immortal spiritual power anymore, can I condense the power of creation? Seeing that he could no longer condense immortal spiritual power, Mo Qingyun's mind spun, and he had a bold idea. With this thought, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately tried out. What made Mo Qingyun happy was that the process of condensing the power of creation into a star cluster was unusually smooth. After successfully condensing the first star cluster, Mo Qingyun did not pause at all. He immediately started to condense the second one. Similarly, after condensing the second star cluster, he could no longer condense anymore. It seems that the number of star clusters I can condense has reached the limit. If I want to condense more, I'll have to break through to the next level. After thinking this through, Mo Qingyun stopped condensing and withdrew from his cultivation. Just as he came out of his cultivation, Mo Qingyun saw Qian Linglong and the others being sent flying by Chao Xiong's attack. Linglong, King Devourer, family head Qian Yu. Seeing Qian Linglong and the others being sent flying, Mo Qingyun was shocked and immediately flew towards them. As Mo Qingyun's body flew, he quickly waved his palms and released a gentle force. With the support of Mo Qingyun's palm, Qian Linglong and the others stabilized their bodies. Their faces were a little pale. In addition, there was a trace of blood at the corner of their mouths. Clearly, they were injured by Chao Xiong's attack. "Qingyun, you're done with your cultivation." Standing beside Mo Qingyun, Qian Linglong revealed a surprised smile, as if she had forgotten about her injuries. Hearing Qian Linglong's question, Mo Qingyun nodded at her and said, You guys go and treat your injuries first. Leave this to me. We'll talk about the rest after I've dealt with him. Okay. Hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Qian Linglong nodded in response and went to treat her injuries with the King Devourer. Seeing that Qian Linglong and the others had gone to treat their injuries, Mo Qingyun turned to look at Chao Xiong with a faint smile and said, I really have to thank you this time. If it weren't for the fight with you, I wouldn't have known that my cultivation had gone astray from the Golden Celestial stage. Humph! Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Chao Xiong snorted and his face turned cold. He shouted, Kid, don't be too proud. Even if you've mastered the method of condensing star clusters, you'll still die today. I don't think so. Hearing Chao Xiong's words, Mo Qingyun shook his head with a faint smile. His eyes flashed with anticipation as he said, I've just made a breakthrough in my cultivation and am lacking a sparring partner. I'll have to trouble you. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, a strong battle intent exploded from his body. Then, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed as he took the initiative to attack Chao Xiong. Fire of civilization, demonic star-splitting palm. In a few flashes, Mo Qingyun arrived in front of Chao Xiong and slammed his palm down. Powerful immortal spiritual power, mixed with terrifying flame energy, quickly condensed into a giant flaming palm. The giant flaming palm smashed down toward Chao Xiong with an aura that could incinerate heaven and earth. So strong. Seeing the power of Mo Qingyun's palm, Chao Xiong's expression immediately became tense and shocked. He said in shock, How is this possible? He's only broken through a small level and condensed 4 star clusters. How did his strength increase so much? Great silence, God Slayer sword. While Chao Xiong was shocked, he didn't hesitate at all and immediately controlled his natal blood sword to counterattack. Under Chao Xiong's control, the natal blood sword immediately bloomed with dazzling crimson light and created a powerful sword ray. The crimson sword ray formed and met the giant flaming palm head-on. It domineeringly slashed at the giant flaming palm. Boom! A loud sound rang out. Following that, a terrifying force that could destroy the heavens and the earth erupted in mid-air. Under the impact of this force, a small portion of the Thousand Moon Mansion's protective formation was instantly destroyed. Seeing this, Qian Yuehong and the others trembled, their faces pale with fright. They were certain that if they were caught in this storm, they would be instantly pulverized. As the terrifying storm spread, the giant flaming palm and crimson sword ray began to dissipate bit by bit. If one looked closely, the crimson sword ray dissipated slightly faster, which meant that Mo Qingyun had a slight advantage. Fire of civilization, imperial seal, killing spirit eyes. Fire of civilization, heavenly sun, piercing star eyes. After exchanging one blow with Chao Xiong, Mo Qingyun didn't hold back anymore and attacked Chao Xiong again. 2 crimson flaming eye rays shot out of Mo Qingyun's eyes and transformed into 2 streaks of light. When the 2 streaks of light appeared again, they were already in front of Chao Xiong's eyes and headed for his head. I'm impossible. This can't be real. Seeing that Mo Qingyun had become as strong as him in less than 15 minutes, Chao Xiong couldn't accept this. While Chao Xiong was shocked, he also controlled his natal blood sword to block the 2 streaks of crimson light. What made Chao Xiong helpless was that he couldn't be sure if the light was a soul attack or the sword light was a physical attack. In his panic, the Imperial Seal killing spirit eyes blasted into a sea of consciousness and furiously attacked his origin spirit. Attacked by the flame mark, Chao Xiong immediately screamed and spat out a mouthful of blood. He said angrily, Brat, just you wait. I won't let you go. After being injured by Mo Qingyun's attack, Chao Xiong immediately turned and fled, leaving behind a threat. Chapter 2162. Although Chao Xiong was injured, with Chao Xiong's powerful strength, Mo Qingyun could not catch up with him. Seeing Mo Qingyun coming, Qian Yuezi went to gather people to clean up the destroyed Qianyu mansion. Fortunately, there was a protective array. Otherwise, the battle between Mo Qingyun and Qian Yuezi would have destroyed the entire Qianyu mansion. Qian Yuezi and the others went to clean up the scene. Mo Qingyun sat down beside Qian Linglong and cultivated to stabilize his realm. Because of the emergency, he had no way to stabilize his realm. Now, he had to make up for it. Time passed little by little. Under Mo Qingyun's concentrated cultivation, his realm slowly stabilized, and his aura became stable. After stabilizing his realm, Mo Qingyun withdrew from cultivation and recalled the battle just now. I was able to defeat Wu Ziheng just now. There was still some luck involved. Wu Ziheng's control of his body seemed a little unnatural. With Mo Qingyun's perception, he could still see that Chao Xiong was a little abnormal in the battle. It seems that the current Wu Ziheng is not the Wu Ziheng of the past. Mo Qingyun thought to himself. He immediately realized that something was wrong with Wu Ziheng. According to the description of Qian Yuezi and the others, the Wu Ziheng they spoke of did not have this kind of ability. Thinking of Wu Ziheng, who had escaped, and the three people of the Heavenly Mandate Tower, Mo Qingyun's expression became more serious. He thought to himself, it seems that there are still many cultivators from outside the wild continent. This pool of water is getting deeper and deeper. Mo Qingyun knew very well that there were still many secrets on the wild continent that he had not touched. They're all on the Saint Plane, but the strength of the Saint Plane cultivators from the outer realm is obviously much stronger than that of the inner realm. Thinking about the strength of Wu Ziheng, Wan Man, and the others, and then thinking about the strength of the Thousand Moon Official and the others, Mo Qingyun came to a conclusion. If that's the case, then the Sage Realm experts on the Wild Continent can only be considered as false sages and not true Sage Realm experts. In Mo Qingyun's mind, the definition of a Saint Powerhouse was an existence that had condensed the Saint Power Star Cluster. Those who had not condensed the Saint Power Star Cluster, no matter how powerful they were, could only be regarded as false saints. Even someone as strong as ZK could only be considered a powerful false saint. Mo Qingyun's mind became clear after such a definition. He now had a clear distinction between the Sage Realm experts. After stabilizing his cultivation, Mo Qingyun stopped cultivating and turned to look at Qian Linglong and Qian Linglong. Qian Linglong and the other girl were still cultivating, but their auras were much more stable. From the looks of it, they had basically recovered from their previous injuries. As expected, Mo Qingyun did not wait long before the two girls stopped cultivating. Perhaps the Thousand Moon Official's injuries were too severe. He was still cultivating even after the two women had finished their cultivation. How are your injuries? Seeing that Qian Linglong and the other girl had finished their cultivation, Mo Qingyun asked them with concern. Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, Qian Linglong and the other girl shook their heads and smiled faintly. Our injuries are no longer a problem. We just need to cultivate for a few more days, and we will be completely healed. That's good. Mo Qingyun nodded and felt completely relieved. He said in a deep voice, when I was fighting with Wu Ziheng just now, I discovered the secret of his strength. Both of you, come with me. I will teach you how to condense the Saint Power Star Cluster. If you succeed, your strength will increase by leaps and bounds. Okay. Qian Linglong and the other girl nodded quickly, and their eyes flashed with anticipation. They were also in the Mastery Sage realm. After seeing how powerful Chao Xiong was, it was impossible for them not to be excited. Elder Qian Yuehong, we have something to do. I will leave this place to you. After discussing with Qian Linglong and the other girl, Mo Qingyun left with Qian Yuehong and the other girl. After a while, Mo Qingyun returned to his courtyard and began to teach the two girls how to condense the Saint Power Star Cluster. Actually, the cultivation direction on the Wild Continent has deviated from the right track from the Golden Celestial Realm. Looking at the two girls in front of him, Mo Qingyun told them about his conjectures. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qian Linglong and the other girl were shocked and their emotions were in turmoil. It had to be said that Mo Qingyun's words had a huge impact on them. Then, the two girls' expressions tensed up, and they waited expectantly for Mo Qingyun to continue. As you can see, the experts from the outer realm are almost invincible in the same realm. For example, one man, the other two girls, and Wu Ziheng. Under the two girls' expectant gazes, Mo Qingyun gave them an example of the situation that he had encountered before and said, "Actually, the reason why Wu Ziheng and the others are so powerful is that they have borrowed the power of the planet and condensed the Saint power in their bodies into the Saint Power Star Cluster." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qian Linglong was shocked and felt that her understanding had been shattered. They had never heard of such a subversive view of cultivation before. Okay, now you two try to condense the Saint power in your bodies according to what I said. After telling the two girls some information about the Saint Power Star Cluster, Mo Qingyun guided them to condense the Saint Power Star Cluster. Under Mo Qingyun's guidance, Qian Linglong and the other girl immediately focused and condensed the Saint power in their bodies. Qian Linglong and the other girl condensed the Saint Power Star Cluster very smoothly at first, but they stopped at the last step. The situation that they were in was exactly the same as what Mo Qingyun had encountered before. It seems that my method of condensing is not completely correct. Mo Qingyun frowned when he saw Qian Linglong and the other girl's situation. He immediately realized where the problem was. After knowing the situation of the two girls, Mo Qingyun did not ask them to stop. Instead, he tried to activate the power of the Gate of Creation. If he could activate the power of creation, perhaps he could use the Gate of Creation to help the two girls successfully condense the Saint Power Star Cluster. Under Mo Qingyun's perception, a familiar, mysterious power quickly emerged from his body. Success. Sensing the power of the Gate of Creation in his body, Mo Qingyun was delighted and immediately pressed his hands on the backs of the two girls. Immediately after, Mo Qingyun transferred the power of the Gate of Creation into the two girls' bodies to help them condense the Saint Power Star Cluster. With the help of the power of the Gate of Creation, the obstacles of the two girls condensing the Saint Power Star Cluster were immediately cleared. After about an hour, Qian Linglong and the King Devourer had successfully condensed a Saint Power Star Cluster in their bodies. It's done. Seeing that the two girls had successfully condensed the Saint Power Star Cluster, Mo Qingyun was delighted and a bright smile appeared on his face. Immediately after, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and continued to help the two girls condense the Saint Power Star Cluster. A few hours later, Mo Qingyun stopped what he was doing. His face was pale and he looked exhausted. Helping the two women condense 5 Saint Power Star Clusters had drained his mind to the extreme, causing him to feel drowsy. "Qingyun, what's wrong with you?" "Master, you've exhausted too much of your mind. Quickly rest and recover." Seeing Mo Qingyun's behavior, the two girls were concerned and quickly persuaded Mo Qingyun. "I'm fine. I'm just a little tired. Don't worry." Mo Qingyun waved his hand and smiled at the two girls. He said, "It seems that although I can help people condense the Saint Power Star Cluster with the power of the Gate of Creation, it's not without limitations. It requires a lot of mind and time." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qian Linglong's children nodded continuously. They knew what Mo Qingyun was thinking. If that's the case, I'm afraid it's impossible to help more people condense the Saint Power Star Cluster. What a pity. Originally, Mo Qingyun was thinking of using the power of the Gate of Creation to help you High and the others condense the Saint Power Star Cluster. Now, it seemed that his plan was going to fall through. The difficulty level was too high. Based on the current situation, Mo Qingyun would need at least a few months to help the two girls condense the maximum number of Saint Power Star Clusters. In that case, it would take at least a few years to condense the Saint Power Star Clusters for High and the others. A few years was too long for Mo Qingyun. You two get used to the increase in strength. I'll rest and recover, Mo Qingyun said to the two girls. He then returned to his room to rest and recover his exhausted mind. In the following time, Mo Qingyun tirelessly helped the two girls condense the Saint Power Star Clusters. During this time, Wu Ziheng did not return. It was as if he had disappeared. In the blink of an eye, A month had passed. At this moment, Long and the other two came to Mo Qingyun's courtyard with tired faces. In the past month, they had not only repaired the protective array of Thousand Moon Mansion, but they had also set up the teleportation formation. Now, the Thousand Moon City and Thousand Language City could teleport to each other. Master, the Thousand Moon Mansion's teleportation formation has been set up. Long and the other two came to Mo Qingyun's side and reported their progress to Mo Qingyun. They also asked for Mo Qingyun's next instructions. Hearing Long and the other two's reports, Mo Qingyun nodded in satisfaction. The three of you have worked hard recently. Go rest on the Fortune mainland. As Mo Qingyun's words fell, he sent Long and the other two into the Fortune mainland. Since the teleportation formation is set up, it's time to return to the Thousand Moon City. After dealing with Long and the other two, Mo Qingyun said to the two girls. He then went to bid farewell to the Thousand Moon official and the others. During this time, the Thousand Moon official and the others had not been idle. They had been reorganizing the other forces in the Thousand Moon City. With Long and the other two girls' help, the Thousand Moon City was completely under their control after a month of hard work. The only thing that surprised Mo Qingyun was that in this 1 month, the Dark Devil race had not made any moves. This gave Mo Qingyun the feeling that this was a little too abnormal. However, although Mo Qingyun was puzzled, he did not care too much about it. Chapter 2163. Greetings, Sacred Lady. Mr. Mo, please have a seat. Senior Empress of the Mermaids, please come in. Seeing Mo Qingyun and the other two, the Thousand Moon official and the rest immediately stood up and bowed to Mo Qingyun and the other two. Mo Qingyun waved his hand indifferently at the greeting of the Thousand Moon official and the others. He said, Thousand Moon official, since the trouble in Thousand Moon City has been resolved, we won't stay any longer. It's time to go to another city. Mr. Mo, Sacred Lady, you're leaving? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the Thousand Moon official was stunned and a hint of reluctance flashed in his eyes. After this period of interaction, they were already used to Mo Qingyun leading everyone to fight against strong enemies. However, thinking of Qianlinglong's identity, the Thousand Moon official was relieved. As the Sacred Lady of the 1,000 Illusions, Qianlinglong's mission was to restore the glory of the 1,000 Illusions. Naturally, she had to conquer the other branches. Since the matter in Thousand Moon City had been resolved, there was no need for her to stay any longer. Master of the Thousand Moon official, the Thousand Moon Mansion has already set up the teleportation portal. If there's anything, I'll come over at any time. Seeing the change in the Thousand Moon official's expression, Mo Qingyun guessed what he was thinking and comforted him. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the Thousand Moon official felt more at ease and did not ask Mo Qingyun and the other two to stay any longer. Mr. Mo, Sacred Lady, Empress of the Mermaids, I'll send you off. The Thousand Moon official made up his mind and gestured to Mo Qingyun and the other two to the teleportation portal. Then, under the escort of the Thousand Moon official and the rest, Mo Qingyun and the other two arrived at the teleportation portal. After bidding farewell to the Thousand Moon official and the rest, Mo Qingyun and the other two stepped into the teleportation portal and disappeared from everyone's sight. Whoosh! Mo Qingyun and the other two's vision blurred. When they could see clearly again, they had already arrived at the ancestral tomb of the Thousand Moon Mansion. After exiting the transmission array, Mo Qingyun's group of 3 did not stop and directly left the Thousand Words Residence's ancestral tomb. A short while later, Mo Qingyun's group of 3 arrived at the Thousand Language Manor's meeting hall and found Thousand Language Dragon and the others. Saint, Mr. Mo, you're back. Seeing Mo Qingyun's group arrive, Qian Yulong and the others were overjoyed. They hurriedly went to welcome Mo Qingyun's group. Under the escort of Qian Yulong and the others, Mo Qingyun walked to the top of the hall and sat down. Family head Qian Yulong, has there been any unusual situation in Qianyu City recently? Mo Qingyun didn't beat around the bush and directly asked Qian Yulong after he sat down at the top of the hall. Qian Yulong bowed respectfully when he heard Mo Qingyun's question. He said, "Mr. Mo, everything in Qianyu City has been stable recently. There have been no abnormalities." Qian Yulong's report made Mo Qingyun feel more at ease. He nodded with satisfaction. After reporting the situation in Qianyu City, Qian Yulong frowned slightly and said, "We received some news from the Precious Treasure Pavilion. In the past month, the Dark Demon tribe in the surrounding cities seemed to have all evacuated to the main clan." "Oh, there's such a thing?" Mo Qingyun was startled. A trace of surprise flashed in his eyes. He was very surprised by this news. Originally, he was still wondering if the Dark Demon tribe had some secret plan and was preparing for a big counterattack. Now, it seemed like he was overthinking. Mo Qingyun pondered for a while and understood the Dark Demon tribe's plan. "If I'm not wrong, the 1,000 illusions of the Dark Demon tribe have all evacuated to the main clan. I think they want to have a life-and-death battle with me in the main clan." Hearing Mo Qingyun's analysis, Qian Yulong and the others nodded. They agreed with Mo Qingyun's words. "That's good too. It'll be much easier to reclaim the other cities." Knowing that the Dark Demon tribe had all evacuated, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly. He planned to play with the Dark Demon tribe slowly. Although the Dark Demon tribe had evacuated, Mo Qingyun didn't let his guard down. He said to Qian Yulong and the others, "Although the Dark Demon tribe has evacuated, there's no guarantee that this isn't a scheme of theirs. You can't let your guard down because of this." "Yes." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qian Yulong and the others nodded and stopped being careless. At this moment, Qian Yulong suddenly thought of another piece of news. He said, "Mr. Mo, we've received a rumor recently. There seems to be an anomaly in the main clan. It might be related to the arrival of a secret treasure from the outer realm." "Secret treasure from the outer realm?" Hearing Qian Yulong's report, Mo Qingyun's expression changed. He was very surprised by this news. As far as he knew, he had never heard of a secret treasure from the outer realm descending on the wild continent. "Okay, I got it." Mo Qingyun hesitated for a moment, then nodded to Qian Yulong and noted this down. Although he had heard from Qian Yulong that there was a possibility of a secret treasure from the outer realm descending, Mo Qingyun didn't plan to rush to the main clan. To him, reclaiming the 1,000 illusions was the most important thing. Nothing else mattered. Moreover, this was just a rumor. The possibility of it being true was too low. Next, Mo Qingyun chatted with Qian Yulong and the others for a while before leaving the Qianyu residence. After leaving the Qianyu residence, Mo Qingyun didn't go to the Jinxing Palace. Instead, he went directly to the Precious Treasure Pavilion. When he arrived at the Precious Treasure Pavilion, Mo Qingyun found Zheng Ping and Qian Yulong and summoned them to a secret room. "How are things going with the branch?" After summoning Zheng Ping and Qian Yulong to the secret room, Mo Qingyun asked them about the progress of the Precious Treasure Pavilion branch. Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's question, Zheng Ping immediately reported everything to Mo Qingyun. "Mr. Mo, the branch in the Thousand Star City has been successfully opened. The branch in the Thousand Ink City is also in the final stages of preparation." "Good." Upon hearing Zheng Ping's report, Mo Qingyun smiled satisfactorily and said, "Everything will continue as usual. Continue to open more branches and collect information about the Dark Demon race." "Yes." Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Zheng Ping nodded immediately and took out a storage bracelet. "Mr. Mo, this is some of the recent profits. Please take a look and count them." "There's no need." Mo Qingyun didn't take the storage bracelet from Zheng Ping. Instead, he waved his hand at Zheng Ping and said, "Use these immortal spiritual stones to collect some materials for setting up arrays and refining pills. The more the better. If there aren't enough immortal spiritual stones, I'll give you more." "Yes." Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Zheng Ping nodded and took the storage bracelet. After giving Zheng Ping some instructions, Mo Qingyun took out a piece of paper and wrote down the various materials he needed. Chapter 2164. A few days later, Mo Qingyun and the others arrived at Thousand Rainbow City and found the Thousand Language City's precious treasure pavilion branch. However, what surprised Mo Qingyun was that the Thousand Rainbow City's precious treasure pavilion branch had turned into a pile of ruins. The Thousand Rainbow City branch was robbed. I wonder how the employees are doing? Seeing the scene in front of him, Mo Qingyun instinctively thought of the precious treasure pavilion being robbed. At this moment, a few people with flustered expressions slowly walked toward Mo Qingyun. When these people arrived in front of Mo Qingyun, they revealed excited expressions and said in surprise, Mo, Mr. Mo, you're really here. That's great. These people were all employees of the Thousand Rainbow City branch. They had all seen Mo Qingyun in Thousand Language City before. Hearing their words, Mo Qingyun turned to look at them and immediately recognized them. When Jin Wei ran to the precious treasure pavilion to cause trouble, these people happened to be there. Mo Qingyun had some impression of them. What's going on? After greeting them, Mo Qingyun asked them what had happened in the Thousand Rainbow City branch. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the employees' expressions turned ugly. With angry expressions, they said, "It's like this. Ever since the Dark Demon race's troops left, the Thousand Rainbow Manor's strength has been greatly reduced. They can no longer suppress the Demon God Pavilion. Without other forces to keep the Demon God Pavilion in check, they became unscrupulous. They began to burn, kill, and rob everywhere, destroying the forces in Thousand Rainbow City. If it weren't for the Thousand Rainbow Manor's strength, they probably wouldn't have been able to escape this calamity and end up like us." After listening to the employee's explanation, Mo Qingyun nodded. He knew some of the situation in Thousand Rainbow City. Demon God Pavilion. Mo Qingyun narrowed his eyes. After thinking for a moment, he had a plan in his heart. Mo Qingyun asked, "Among you, who is the manager of the Thousand Rainbow City branch?" Reporting to Mr. Mo, "I'm a manager of the Thousand Rainbow City branch, Zhang Ling." Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's question, an old man called Zhang Ling respectfully walked over to Mo Qingyun. Glancing at the old man before him, Mo Qingyun took out a storage bracelet and handed it to him, saying, "There are 1 billion celestial spiritual stones here. Take it. Settle everyone down first, then rebuild the treasure pavilion. I will tidy up the Demon God Pavilion." "Yes." After receiving the storage bracelet from Mo Qingyun, Zhang Ling responded respectfully and began to gather the other employees. After settling down the employees of the precious treasure pavilion's branch, Mo Qingyun did not linger. He turned his head and said to Qian Ling Long and Qian Ling Long, "It looks like Thousand Rainbow Manor's current situation is not very optimistic. Let's go over and take a look." After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he hurried over to Thousand Rainbow Manor with Qian Ling Long and Qian Ling Long. After a short while, Mo Qingyun and the other two arrived outside Thousand Rainbow Manor. They saw that the main gate of Thousand Rainbow Manor was tightly shut. Not only that, but Thousand Rainbow Manor's protective array was also activated. It looks like Thousand Rainbow Manor's current crisis is more serious than we thought. After seeing the situation of Thousand Rainbow Manor, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but sigh. He had a better understanding of Thousand Rainbow Manor's situation. If they hadn't been forced into a corner, given Thousand Rainbow Manor's status and strength, they definitely wouldn't have done such a thing. "Qingyun, what should we do now?" Qian Ling Long's face was cold as she looked at Thousand Rainbow Manor in front of her. She asked Mo Qingyun for his opinion. After hearing Qian Ling Long's question, Mo Qingyun had a contemplative look on his face as he considered what to do next. Given Thousand Rainbow Manor's current situation, if they wanted to enter, they would have to break the array formation first. At this moment, while Mo Qingyun was pondering, a group of people rushed over in a panic. There was another group of people chasing after them. "Save! Save us!" The group of people who were running for their lives saw Mo Qingyun and the other two and immediately cried for help. Hearing these people's cries for help, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly as he looked at the group of people behind them. The appearance of the people behind them was clearly different from ordinary humans. They looked like half-beastmen. If I'm not wrong, The people chasing after us should be from the demon god pavilion. After sweeping a glance at the group of people behind them, Mo Qingyun guessed their origins and gave King Devourer a look. After receiving Mo Qingyun's instructions, King Devourer no longer hesitated and immediately charged towards the group of people behind them. How dare you obstruct our demon god pavilion's actions? You're courting death. Seeing King Devourer coming to stop them, the leader of the group of people from the demon god pavilion immediately shouted angrily. That person shouted angrily and slashed at King Devourer with his saber, sending out a powerful saber light. Facing this person's attack, King Devourer did not retreat at all. Instead, he casually raised his jade-like hand. King Devourer waved his arm and pointed his finger at the void. A black vortex appeared in front of him. The black vortex began to expand rapidly as soon as it appeared, emitting a terrifying devouring power. Under this devouring power, the group of people from the demon god pavilion could not resist at all. In the blink of an eye, they were all slaughtered. After killing the people from the demon god pavilion, King Devourer moved and appeared in front of Mo Qingyun. Junior Thousand Rainbow Phoenix, thanks Senior for saving us. Seeing that the people from the demon god pavilion were killed, a young girl walked out from the group of people who were asking Mo Qingyun for help. Hearing this girl's words, Mo Qingyun was surprised and asked, "You're for the Thousand Rainbow Manor?" "Yes." Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, Thousand Rainbow Phoenix quickly nodded in response. Then, her expression dimmed, and she said, "Half a month ago, the Demon God Pavilion's Pavilion Master broke through to the Great Perfection Sage Realm. He was no longer afraid of the Thousand Rainbow Manor and attacked them one after another." Great Perfection Sage Realm. Hearing Thousand Rainbow Phoenix's words, Mo Qingyun's expression changed. He was a little surprised by this news. He had been in the Wasteland continent for so long and had seen many Sage Realm experts. However, this was the first time he had heard of a Great Perfection Sage Realm expert. At this moment, Mo Qingyun finally understood why the Thousand Rainbow Manor had sealed themselves and not come out. "Miss Phoenix, the people from the Demon God Pavilion will be here at any time. Let's return to the manor first." Seeing Thousand Rainbow Phoenix conversing with Mo Qingyun and the others, a one-eyed skinny young man suggested softly to Thousand Rainbow Phoenix. Hearing this young man's words, Thousand Rainbow Phoenix nodded and invited Mo Qingyun and the others. "Senior, thank you for saving me just now. Please come with me to the manor. I'll set up a banquet to thank you. Thank you for your hospitality." Mo Qingyun didn't refuse Thousand Rainbow Phoenix's invitation. He smiled faintly and nodded in acceptance. He was worried about how to enter Thousand Rainbow Phoenix's manor. Thousand Rainbow Phoenix's invitation couldn't be better. As soon as he saw Qian Hongfeng invite Mo Qingyun, the one-eyed young man's face immediately turned gloomy, and he said, "Young Miss Feng, these people's origins are unknown, and their strengths are formidable. If we bring them into the estate, then what if they have any ill intent? It would be equivalent to inviting wolves into the house." Thousand Rainbow Phoenix's face clearly showed hesitation when she heard the one-eyed young man's words. Clearly, the one-eyed young man's words gave her some misgivings. She was worried that Mo Qingyun and the others would have ulterior motives. Mo Qingyun didn't take Thousand Rainbow Phoenix's behavior to heart. He could understand Thousand Rainbow Phoenix's thoughts. Thousand Rainbow Manor was facing a crisis now. It was understandable that Thousand Rainbow Phoenix was cautious. "Senior, please forgive me. Because Thousand Rainbow Manor is facing a crisis, I was a little oversensitive just now." Thousand Rainbow Phoenix hesitated for a moment before making a difficult decision. She gestured to Mo Qingyun and the others and said, "Seniors, please follow me into the manor." "All right." Seeing that Thousand Rainbow Phoenix had made her decision, Mo Qingyun didn't mind and nodded towards Thousand Rainbow Manor. Seeing that Thousand Rainbow Phoenix invited Mo Qingyun again, the one-eyed young man's expression tightened. He quickly walked to Thousand Rainbow Phoenix's side and whispered, "Miss Phoenix, if these people..." "All right, there's no need to say anything. I've already made my decision." Before the one-eyed young man could finish speaking, Thousand Rainbow Phoenix interrupted him and said with a firm expression, "These seniors saved us earlier. I believe that they won't harm us. Otherwise, there's no need for them to act in this way, and they would be entirely capable of watching us be killed. But what if they're acting out a ruse? That wouldn't be good." When he saw that Thousand Rainbow Phoenix didn't change her mind, the one-eyed young man revealed an anxious expression, and he persuaded Thousand Rainbow Phoenix. Thousand Rainbow Phoenix immediately shook her head and denied the one-eyed young man's words, and she said there were a few Saint Realm experts amongst those who were killed earlier. They wouldn't give up their lives so easily, so they wouldn't agree to act out such a ruse. As soon as she finished speaking, Thousand Rainbow Phoenix paid no further attention to the one-eyed young man and walked swiftly towards Mo, Qingyun, and the others. After that, Thousand Rainbow Phoenix led Mo, Qingyun, and the others directly into Thousand Rainbow Manor. The one-eyed young man's expression became unsightly when he saw Thousand Rainbow Phoenix's actions, and he gritted his teeth and followed her into the manor. "Seniors, please follow me." After leading Mo, Qingyun's group of 3 into the manor, Thousand Rainbow Phoenix's footsteps didn't stop, and she led Mo, Qingyun, and the others to the discussion hall. At this moment, the discussion hall was completely empty without a single person inside, giving others a feeling that it was slightly cold and cheerless. Thousand Rainbow Phoenix seemed to be used to this, and she directly beckoned to Mo, Qingyun's group of 3 and said, "Seniors, please have a seat. I'll order people to set up a banquet right away and summon the Thousand Rainbow Manor's elders over." "All right." When he saw Thousand Rainbow Phoenix's actions, Mo, Qingyun nodded, and he sat down with an indifferent expression. After making arrangements for Mo, Qingyun, and the others, Thousand Rainbow Phoenix left the hall and summoned the Thousand Rainbow Manor's members over. Before long, the Thousand Rainbow Manor's elders had all arrived at the discussion hall. At the same time, numerous exquisite dishes and wine were sent into the hall. Except, what surprised Mo, Qingyun was that when the Thousand Rainbow Manor's people arrived at the hall, they didn't see Thousand Rainbow Manor's family head. "Mr. Mo, I'm truly sorry. Family head is seriously injured and unconscious. I'm afraid he can't come out to receive you." Just as Mo, Qingyun was feeling puzzled, an elder called Thousand Rainbow Light explained to him with an apologetic expression. Hearing Thousand Rainbow Light's words, Mo, Qingyun revealed a look of understanding. He waved his hand at the other party and said, "No worries. It's our sudden arrival that disturbed everyone." Chapter 2165. Mr. Mo, from the looks of it, it seems like this is your first time in Thousand Rainbow City. After exchanging pleasantries with Mo, Qingyun for a while, Qian Hongguang started to ask about Mo, Qingyun's background in a roundabout manner. "I wonder why you've come to Thousand Rainbow City. If you trust us, you can tell us. Perhaps we could be of some help." Upon hearing Qian Hongguang's words, Mo, Qingyun could guess what he was thinking. The other party was guarding against him. Mo, Qingyun didn't mind Qian Hongguang's thoughts. It was normal for the other party to have such thoughts. Thousand Rainbow Manor's current situation wasn't particularly optimistic, so they had to be careful at all times. Elder Qian Hongguang's guess is correct. This is indeed our first time in Thousand Rainbow City. Mo, Qingyun didn't deny Qian Hongguang's guess. He nodded and said, "We came to Thousand Rainbow City to take a look at the business of the Precious Treasure Pavilion. We didn't expect that the Precious Treasure Pavilion would be robbed when we arrived." Mo, Qingyun couldn't help but sigh and put on a helpless expression. So, the Precious Treasure Pavilion was opened by Mr. Mo. Clearly, Qian Hongguang had a certain level of understanding of the Precious Treasure Pavilion. Now that he knew Mo, Qingyun's identity, the vigilance on Qian Hongguang's face clearly lessened. The Precious Treasure Pavilion had been robbed by the Demon God Pavilion. This meant that Mo, Qingyun wasn't a member of the Demon God Pavilion, so he probably wouldn't do anything to harm Thousand Rainbow Manor. "Mr. Mo, now that the Precious Treasure Pavilion has been destroyed, what are your plans?" Qian Hongguang pondered for a moment before continuing to ask Mo Qingyun. It seemed like he wanted to recruit Mo Qingyun. King Devourer's strength must have moved Qian Hongwang, so he wanted to recruit Mo Qingyun and the others. Hearing Qian Hongwang's question, Mo Qingyun's expression turned serious. Not long ago, I found a group of employees and asked them to contact the other employees. When everything is ready, I will probably rebuild the precious treasure pavilion. Rebuild the precious treasure pavilion? Qian Hongwang's expression changed. He was a little surprised by Mo Qingyun's plan. He immediately frowned and said, "Mr. Mo, this old man has something to say to you. I don't know if you're willing to listen." Elder Qian Hongwang, please speak your mind. Mo Qingyun had a curious expression on his face. He nodded at Qian Hongwang, wanting to see what the other party wanted to say. Under Mo Qingyun's gaze, Qian Hongwang's expression turned serious. Now that the Demon God Pavilion is running amok, wantonly burning, killing, and robbing, I'm worried that after you rebuild the precious treasure pavilion, the Demon God Pavilion will rob you. I advise you not to waste your money and manpower. Hearing Qian Hongwang's words, Mo Qingyun's expression showed that he understood what Qian Hongwang meant. Don't worry, I don't care about a small Demon God Pavilion. Knowing Qian Hongwang's suggestion, Mo Qingyun smiled nonchalantly and replied confidently. Even if the Demon God Pavilion's master's cultivation had reached the great attainment of the Saint Realm, as long as he was not a true divine, he would be fine. Seeing Mo Qingyun's attitude, the surrounding people's gazes changed drastically. If one looked closely, they would see that there was contempt and mockery in their eyes. In their opinion, Mo Qingyun was too arrogant. He was not afraid of biting his tongue. Since Mr. Mo says so, then this old man is overthinking. Qian Hongwang was old and shrewd. Although he was somewhat disdainful of Mo Qingyun, he did not show it directly. Immediately, the crowd's enthusiasm for Mo Qingyun decreased a lot because of this. Mo Qingyun did not care too much about this. He would let nature take its course. After a few hours, the banquet ended. "Mr. Mo, I'll arrange a place for you to stay. Please come with me." After the banquet ended, Qian Hongfeng came to Mo Qingyun and led the way for Mo Qingyun. "Thank you for your trouble, Miss Qian Hongfeng." Mo Qingyun did not refuse Qian Hongfeng's arrangement. He nodded and followed behind her. After a while, Mo Qingyun came to a quiet courtyard under Qian Hongfeng's lead. "Mr. Mo, if you need anything, you can have a servant pass a message to me." After bringing Mo Qingyun to the courtyard, Qian Hongfeng warned Mo Qingyun and left. Seeing Qian Hongfeng leave, Mo Qingyun turned to Qian Linglong and asked, "Linglong, what do you think of Thousand Rainbow Manor situation? Have they completely surrendered to the dark demons?" Mo Qingyun did not reveal his identity, mainly because he wanted to see if Thousand Rainbow Manor had been enslaved by the dark demons. When she heard Mo Qingyun's question, Qian Linglong shook her head and said, "I can't tell at the moment. I still need to continue observing." Hearing Qian Linglong's words, Mo Qingyun didn't say anything else and walked into a room to rest. In the conference hall, Elder Qian Hongwang, "This kid's origins are unknown. It's better to be careful." When he saw Mo Qingyun leave, the one-eyed youth had a cold expression as he suggested to Qian Hongwang in a low voice. Qian Hongwang nodded and instructed the one-eyed youth, "Han Yi, go investigate immediately and see if Mo Qingyun is telling the truth." "Yes." The one-eyed youth immediately left after hearing Qian Hongwang's words. After instructing the one-eyed youth, Qian Hongwang turned to the others and asked, "Elders, what do you think about Mo Qingyun and the other two? Tell us." Elder Qian Hongwang, "I'm still worried about Mo Qingyun and the other two. It's best to send them away as soon as possible. Qian Hongfeng is too reckless. How can she bring someone of unknown origins to the manor so easily?" It's said that the woman who saved Qian Hongfeng is a mermaid. It's hard to guarantee that she has nothing to do with the Fey God's Pavilion. Everyone calm down. No matter what, Mo Qingyun did save Qian Hongfeng and the others. In the hall, Most of the elders of Qian Hongfeng did not have a good attitude towards Mo Qingyun. Seeing everyone's expressions, Qian Hongwang frowned. After a moment of silence, he said, Mo Qingyun and the other two are not weak. If we can recruit them, it'll be a good thing. Don't get on their bad side for now. Let's observe them for a few more days. Hearing Qian Hongwang's words, the elders in the hall nodded. They felt that Qian Hongwang's words made sense. If they could recruit Mo Qingyun and the others, it would indeed be a good thing. It would greatly increase the strength of Qian Hongfeng Manor. Following that, everyone chatted for a while more before they dispersed. After receiving Qian Hongwang's instructions, Han Yi left Qian Hongfeng Manor and secretly came to the Fey God's Pavilion. Han Yi, young lord, you're back. Young lord, did things go well? When do we make our move? They probably never imagined that our Fey God's Pavilion's young lord would hide in Qian Hongfeng Manor for 3 years. When the elders in the Fey God's Pavilion conference hall saw Han Yi return, they all flattered him and smiled apologetically. Han Yi didn't respond to their flattery. He raised his head and looked at the top of the hall. Father, the situation in Qian Hongfeng Manor has changed. A few troublesome fellows have arrived. I'm afraid they'll affect our plans. I already know about the people you mentioned. When Han Yi mentioned Mo Qingyun and the other two, the pavilion master of the Fey God's Pavilion, Han Liu, revealed a cold smile. He killed 3 sage stage experts with a casual wave of his hand. This person's cultivation should be at the late stage sage stage. If it was before, he might have caused me some trouble. But now he's not enough. That's right. Hearing Han Liu's words, a cold smile appeared on Han Ye's face. He hurriedly fawned over Han Liu. With father's current strength, there are probably less than 100 people in the entire wasteland continent who can be compared to you. Han Liu enjoyed Han Ye's flattery very much. He laughed heartily and said, You don't have to bother with those 3. Just think of a way to open the protective array. Yes. Han Yi immediately responded when he heard Han Liu's instructions. He was no longer willing to pay attention to Mo Qingyun. After chatting with Han Yi for a while, Han Liu said with a solemn expression, In order to prevent any unforeseen events from happening, you should return to Thousand Rainbow Mansion first. As for the 3 people you mentioned, I'll send someone to deal with them later. Okay. Han Yi nodded in response. He left the Fey God's Pavilion and returned to Thousand Rainbow Mansion directly. When Han Yi returned to Thousand Rainbow Mansion, he found Qian Hongwang and gave him a simple report. Han Yi did not fabricate the identities of Mo Qingyun and the other two. He reported everything truthfully. Since Han Liu had given him instructions, there was no need for him to fabricate right and wrong and cause unnecessary trouble. To him, the most important thing now was to think of a way to open the protective array. As long as the protective array was opened, Thousand Rainbow Mansion would collapse on its own and be destroyed by the Fey God's Pavilion experts. At this moment, a group of people arrived outside Thousand Rainbow Mansion while Qian Hongwang and Han Liu were conversing. Qian Hongwang, hand over the 3 people from Birdsong, Flowery, Treasure Pavilion, and we'll spare your Thousand Rainbow Mansion's people. Hand over those 3 people. Otherwise, don't blame us for not being courteous. People of Thousand Rainbow Mansion, listen up. If you still don't hand over those 3 people, you'll be punished for harboring. A series of enraged words came in from outside Thousand Rainbow Mansion. The Fey God's Pavilion's people are here. Hearing the words outside the mansion, Qian Hongwang's expression shook, and his face darkened all at once. Although Thousand Rainbow Mansion had the protective array, he also did not dare to guarantee that the protective array could stop Han Liu. Knowing that the Fey God's Pavilion's people came, Qian Hongwang did not dare to hesitate anymore and immediately gathered the elders of Thousand Rainbow Mansion. Before long, Qian Hongwang and the rest arrived at the conference hall to discuss Mo Qingyun's matter. Mo Qingyun killing the Fey God's Pavilion's people was also in order to save Qian Hongfeng and the rest. This matter had to be handled carefully. Otherwise, a moment of carelessness might chill other people's hearts. Chapter 2166. Thousand Rainbow Manor, Conference Hall. Everyone, what do you think about Mo Qingyun's matter? Qian Hongguang sat at the front of the hall, his gaze sweeping across the crowd as he asked for their opinions. Under Qian Hongguang's questioning, the elders in the hall immediately began to whisper to each other. I feel that the Demon God Pavilion's true goal isn't to get us to hand over Mo Qingyun. That's right. They should be using this as an excuse to force us to open the protective array. I've long felt that there was something wrong with that kid. He's clearly in cahoots with the Demon God Pavilion. We definitely can't accept the Demon God Pavilion's request to open the protective array and let that kid leave Thousand Rainbow Manor. After a round of discussion, they reached a consensus that they would not hand over Mo Qingyun to the Demon God Pavilion. If Mo Qingyun heard the conversation between Qian Hongguang and the others, his expression would be very interesting. He would never have imagined that there would be such an operation. If we don't hand over Mo Qingyun, what if the Demon God Pavilion won't give up? Seeing everyone's thoughts, an elder with a goatee voiced his concerns. Hearing the elder's concerns, someone immediately stood up and comforted him. Elder Thousand Rainbow Cauldron, you don't have to worry about this. If the Demon God Pavilion could break the protective array, why would they wait until now to do nothing? That's true. Thousand Rainbow Cauldron nodded in agreement, the worry on his face easing a little. When the others heard this person's words, their expressions also relaxed a little. As long as the Demon God Pavilion couldn't break the array, there was nothing for them to fear. They could slowly think of a way to deal with it. Seeing that everyone had reached a consensus, Qian Hongguang no longer hesitated. His expression turned solemn as he said, if that's the case, we won't hand over Mo Qingyun. We'll let him stay in Thousand Rainbow Manor. Seeing Qian Hongguang's decision, everyone nodded one after another. This matter was considered settled. After Qian Hongguang made his decision, his expression changed as he said, although we won't hand over Mo Qingyun, we can't let our guard down. In the coming days, we must send someone to keep an eye on them to prevent them from doing anything untoward. Everyone in the hall nodded in agreement. They felt that this was a good idea. Leave the matter of keeping an eye on Mo Qingyun to me. The Thousand Rainbow Cauldron's elder volunteered himself and stood up, indicating that he would go and keep an eye on Mo Qingyun. Qian Hongguang nodded in agreement when he saw the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron step forward. Since that's the case, I'll have to trouble Elder Thousand Rainbow Cauldron for the next few days. Pay close attention to Mo Qingyun's actions. Yes, Thousand Rainbow Cauldron nodded. After discussing Mo Qingyun's matter, Qian Hongguang and the others chatted for a while before they dispersed. After the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron left the assembly hall, it went to the courtyard adjacent to Mo Qingyun's and began monitoring Mo Qingyun's trio. Oh, Mo Qingyun sensed at the moment Thousand Rainbow Cauldron's spiritual power swept over them. His brows furrowed slightly as he said, it seems like Thousand Rainbow Manor is very worried about us. They actually sent someone to keep an eye on us. Qian Linglong's pretty face also tensed up when she heard Mo Qingyun's words. She thought to herself, they sent someone to keep an eye on us. Could they have defected to the Dark Devil race? Not necessarily. Mo Qingyun shook his head, denying Qian Linglong's guess. He began to analyze the situation for her. If Thousand Rainbow Manor has defected to the Dark Devil race, they must have found out about my identity. If the Demon God Pavilion asked them to hand me over, they would have gladly agreed. They would have let the Demon God Pavilion and I fight to the death so that they could reap the benefits. However, they didn't do that. Then why? Qian Linglong was puzzled when she heard Mo Qingyun's analysis. She didn't know what was going on. Under Qian Linglong's gaze, Mo Qingyun pondered for a moment before he roughly guessed the reason. He said, if my guess is correct, Thousand Rainbow Manor's current actions should be due to their fear of the Fiend God Pavilion. Due to their fear of the Fiend God Pavilion, they do not trust anyone. Qian Linglong and Qian Linglong nodded. They felt that Mo Qingyun's analysis was right. This was the only reasonable explanation. All right, let's not bother about them. I'll continue to help you condense the Saint Energy Star Cluster. After chatting with Qianling Long and Qianling Long for a while, Mo Qingyun ignored Thousand Rainbow Cauldron and returned to the house with the two ladies. Immediately, Mo Qingyun focused and helped the two ladies condense the Saint Energy Star Cluster. Mo Qingyun didn't conceal himself when he was helping the two ladies condense the Star Energy Star Cluster. He allowed Thousand Rainbow Cauldron to spy on him. Mo Qingyun's idea was simple. Since Thousand Rainbow Cauldron wanted to spy on him, he would let it spy on him. More importantly, although Thousand Rainbow Cauldron was spying on him, it was also guarding his cultivation. Time passed slowly in this manner. In the blink of an eye, several hours had passed. The sky had already darkened. Seeing that Mo Qingyun and the other two hadn't left the courtyard for several hours, Thousand Rainbow Cauldron frowned slightly and thought, "It seems that we've misunderstood them. They're not spies from the Demon God Pavilion." Next, Thousand Rainbow Cauldron continued to spy on Mo Qingyun and the other two for several hours. They still didn't stop cultivating. "It seems that we've been worrying too much. They probably don't have any ill intentions towards Thousand Rainbow Manor." After observing for several more hours, Thousand Rainbow Cauldron didn't see any abnormalities with Mo Qingyun and the other two. It didn't want to spy on Mo Qingyun anymore. It couldn't be helped. Spying on others for such a long time was very taxing on the mind. When Thousand Rainbow Cauldron stopped spying with its soul, Thousand Rainbow Manor's protective formation suddenly shook violently. This was a sign that the protective formation had been removed. Oh no, someone's turned off the protective formation. Thousand Rainbow Cauldron's expression changed drastically when it sensed the change in the protective formation. Shock surfaced on its face. Thousand Rainbow Cauldron didn't hesitate any longer and immediately went to stop the protective formation from closing. Thousand Rainbow Light and the others were alarmed when Thousand Rainbow Cauldron did so. They all went to stop the formation from closing. However, before Thousand Rainbow Cauldron and the others could restart the formation, the people from the Demon God Pavilion had entered. After that, the elders of the Thousand Rainbow Manor began to confront the people from the Demon God Pavilion. "Thousand Rainbow Cauldron Elder, what's going on? Weren't you spying on Mo Qingyun?" An elder who didn't know the truth questioned Thousand Rainbow Cauldron when it arrived before him. Thousand Rainbow Cauldron revealed an aggrieved expression when it heard the elder's question. It explained, "The protective formation wasn't turned off by Mo Qingyun. Under my surveillance, the three of them have been cultivating and haven't taken a single step out of their courtyard." "It wasn't Mo Qingyun?" Qian Hongwang frowned and his face darkened. He said, "It looks like the situation is worse than we thought. The Demon God's Pavilion has already infiltrated the Thousand Rainbow Manor without us noticing. Mo Qingyun and the other two might have come to divert our attention." Thousand Rainbow Cauldron and the others' expressions changed drastically when they heard Thousand Rainbow Light's analysis. Their hearts sank. Chapter 2167. In the small courtyard. The arrival of the people from the Demon God Pavilion immediately attracted Mo Qingyun's attention, and he immediately withdrew from his cultivation. When Mo Qingyun withdrew from his cultivation, Qian Linglong and the other two ladies also withdrew from their cultivation. Their pretty faces were filled with shock. "What's going on? It seems like an expert is attacking Thousand Rainbow Manor." Thousand Rainbow Manor's protective array seems to have been opened by someone. When the two ladies sensed the situation outside, they revealed a shocked expression, and strong doubts arose in their hearts. Logically speaking, since the people from Thousand Rainbow Manor were so careful, they shouldn't have made such a low-level mistake. Mo Qingyun frowned slightly when he heard the two women's words. He said in a deep voice, "If my guess is correct, the Demon God Pavilion has already planted an unknown spy in the Thousand Rainbow Manor. When they saw that we had attracted the attention of the Thousand Rainbow Manor, they secretly deactivated the manor protecting formation. The Demon God Pavilion is so ruthless. Since they opened the protective array and set us up, it can be said that they're killing two birds with one stone. With Thousand Rainbow Manor's current strength, It's impossible to resist the attack of the Demon God Pavilion. Should we help? Thinking of Thousand Rainbow Manor situation, Qian Linglong and the other two ladies frowned slightly. They couldn't help but worry for Thousand Rainbow Manor. Naturally, we can't just stand by and watch. Since the people from the Demon God Pavilion are here, it's time to settle the score with them. Hearing Qian Linglong's question, Mo Qingyun stood up and directly walked out of the house. Master, you've just helped us condense the Saint Energy Star Cluster. You've exhausted a lot of your mental energy. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, King Devourer revealed a worried expression. He wanted to persuade Mo Qingyun not to go and rest first. Hearing King Devourer's worry, Mo Qingyun shook his head at her and smiled faintly. Don't worry. In my current state, even if I'm not a match for the Demon God Pavilion's Pavilion Master, I'll have no problem protecting myself. But King Devourer frowned, looking like he wanted to say something. Without waiting for King Devourer to speak, Mo Qingyun glanced at Qian Linglong and said, Moreover, I don't have the two of you. With your strength, who can do anything to me? I almost forgot about that. Hearing Mo Qingyun's reason, Qian Linglong and the other woman smiled sweetly and didn't say anything more. With their current strength, it would not be easy for others to injure someone in front of them. After dispelling the worries of the two girls, Mo Qingyun did not stay any longer and directly walked out of the room. A short while later, Mo Qingyun arrived in the sky above Thousand Rainbow Manor and saw the two groups of people from Thousand Rainbow Manor and Demon God Pavilion. Seeing the arrival of Mo Qingyun and his crew, the faces of Qian Hongguang and the others immediately turned cold. Clearly, they had all misunderstood and thought that Mo Qingyun was a spy of the Demon God Pavilion. Mr. Mo, thank you for your help. It was because of you that we were able to open the protective array of Thousand Rainbow Manor. Seeing Mo Qingyun and the other two appear, the pavilion master of the Demon God Pavilion, Han Liu, immediately greeted Mo Qingyun. His action was undoubtedly to make Qian Hongguang and the others misunderstand Mo Qingyun even more. Mo Qingyun, you are indeed spies of the Demon God Pavilion. To think that we trusted you so much. Hearing Han Liu's greeting, some of the elders of Thousand Rainbow Manor immediately rebuked Mo Qingyun angrily. Seeing the actions of the people of Thousand Rainbow Manor, King Devourer's face darkened and he chided, Impudent. If Master wanted to deal with you, he wouldn't have to go through so much trouble. He could have directly broken the protective array and left you with nowhere to hide. Break the protective array? Could he be a sacred array master? Hearing King Devourer's words, the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron frowned and his mind began to whirl. Then, the way he looked at Mo Qingyun changed. From his previous observations, he could sense that Mo Qingyun wasn't a spy of the Demon God Pavilion. This was because Mo Qingyun hadn't come into contact with anyone since he came to Thousand Rainbow Manor. He hadn't made any moves to investigate Thousand Rainbow Manor. Moreover, if he wasn't familiar with Thousand Rainbow Manor, he wouldn't have been able to silently deactivate the protective array. Therefore, the spy of the Demon God Pavilion should be someone who was familiar with Thousand Rainbow Manor and had been hiding there for a long time. In summary, Mo Qingyun didn't fit any of the criteria. Therefore, he could be eliminated. With this thought in mind, the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron no longer hesitated and immediately explained to Qian Hongguang and the others. Elder Qian Hongguang, I don't think Mo Qingyun and the other two are spies of the Demon God Pavilion. Seeing everyone's excitement, the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron stopped them and analyzed for Qian Hongguang. After listening to the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron's analysis, Qian Hongguang and the others nodded, feeling that the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron's words made sense. After explaining his analysis, the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron's expression tensed up and continued. If there's someone else in the Demon God Pavilion, now that we've offended Mo Qingyun and the other two, pushing them to the Demon God Pavilion side would be a huge mistake. Thinking of the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron's conclusion, Qian Hongguang and the others trembled and felt a sense of lingering fear. The Demon God Pavilion was powerful to begin with. If Mo Qingyun and the other two were added, Thousand Rainbow Manor would really be doomed. Ignoring the thoughts of the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron and the others, Mo Qingyun turned to look at Han Liu and said with a faint smile, "It can't be considered helping. Since you're here, we should settle the score." Settle the score? Han Liu was stunned. He didn't understand Mo Qingyun's words. "My precious treasure pavilion was robbed clean by you. Shouldn't you give me an answer?" Under Han Liu's shocked gaze, Mo Qingyun unhurriedly recounted the incident of the precious treasure pavilion being robbed. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Han Liu immediately understood. He laughed at Mo Qingyun and said, "Mr. Mo, this is all a misunderstanding. I was just joking with you. Once we're done with Thousand Rainbow Manor, I'll compensate you 3 times the amount. Thousand Rainbow Manor can't run away. There's no need to rush." Mo Qingyun shook his head at Han Liu's explanation and rejected his suggestion. He said, "Also, didn't you just say that I'm your spy? Since I'm your spy, how can you not even know about my shop? How do you explain this?" This, under Mo Qingyun's repeated questioning, Han Liu was immediately at a loss for words. He didn't know how to explain. They had indeed been negligent in this matter. Their actions were full of loopholes. Seeing Han Liu's reaction, Thousand Rainbow Light and the others came to a realization. They were sure that they had misunderstood Mo Qingyun. Soon after, fear appeared on their faces as they nodded at the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron. Fortunately, the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron was careful. Otherwise, they would have fallen into the Demon God Pavilion's trap. Under everyone's gazes, Mo Qingyun looked at Han Liu and said with a smile, "Actually, the solution to this matter is very simple. Since you've robbed my precious treasure pavilion, I'll rob your Demon God Pavilion." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Han Liu almost vomited blood in anger. His face immediately turned red. Chapter 2168. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, not only was Han Liu speechless, but even Qian Hongguang and the others were speechless. Mo Qingyun's words were too arrogant. If he went out like this, he would be beaten up. Under everyone's shocked gazes, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly. He looked at the depressed Han Liu and said, "Pavilion Master Han, you don't have to be too touched. Although your Demon God Pavilion's wealth is far from my precious treasure pavilion's, I'm a magnanimous person. I don't want to argue with you." Everyone was about to faint. "Brother, can you be more shameless? It's clearly your precious treasure pavilion. It's not even a 10,000th of the Demon God Pavilion, okay? In the entire Thousand Rainbow City, I'm afraid only Mr. Mo would dare to speak to Han Liu like this. I'm sure now that Mr. Mo is definitely not from the Demon God Pavilion. Bah, you're the one who made the most noise just now. We almost ruined everything because of you. Yeah, if Elder Ding hadn't stopped us, we would have gotten into big trouble." Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Qian Hongguang and the others were filled with regret. They felt a lingering fear in their hearts. Under everyone's gazes, Han Liu's expression immediately turned ugly when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He said, "Mr. Mo, I've already given you 3 chances. Don't you dare open a dye house and embarrass yourself in the end." It was obvious that Han Liu was truly angered by Mo Qingyun's repeated provocations. If he wasn't worried that Mo Qingyun and Thousand Rainbow Manor would join forces and put the Demon God Pavilion in a passive position, he would have already made his move. "Pavilion Master Han, that's not right." Hearing Han Liu's words, Mo Qingyun immediately shook his head and sneered. "I think I should be the one who gave you 3 chances and you open a dye house." Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Han Liu's expression turned even uglier. He said darkly, "Mr. Mo, it seems like you're refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Don't blame me for this." Upon hearing Han Liu's words, the experts of the Demon God Pavilion immediately sharpened their blades. Just as the Demon God Pavilion's group was about to make a move, Han Yu walked out from behind the Thousand Rainbow Manor's group. He sneered and said, "Father, what's the point of saying so much to these people? Just make a move. In any case, They aren't a match for us. Han Yi, it's you. You're actually Han Liu's son, the young lord of the demon god pavilion. You really hit it well. Seeing Han Yi walk out, the expressions of Qian Hongwang and the others changed greatly. They could not believe this was real. Han Yi entered Thousand Rainbow Manor 3 years ago and had always been doing things in a low-profile manner. He had never taken any action that stepped out of line. Slowly, because of his outstanding performance, Qian Hongwang and the others regarded him as their own. Qian Hongwang and the others could not believe that Han Yi was not only a member of the Demon God Pavilion, but also Han Liu's son. That's right. Hearing Han Yi's words, Han Liu nodded and praised Han Yi. He said, It's been hard on you these past few years. From today onwards, you don't have to look at other people's faces. Thank you, Father. Seeing that Han Liu had expressed his stance, Han Yi's face lit up, and he bowed to Han Liu. After instructing Han Yi, Han Liu did not hesitate and immediately said to the people behind him, All right, don't be idle. Go play with the Thousand Rainbow Manors people. Yes. Hearing Han Liu's order, the experts of the Demon God Pavilion immediately charged towards the Thousand Rainbow Manors group. Seeing that the Demon God Pavilion's people were attacking, Qian Hongwang and the others did not hesitate and immediately went to meet the Demon God Pavilion's people. Shortly after, a huge battle broke out. In the blink of an eye, the two sides were in full swing. After instructing his subordinates to take action, Han Liu looked at Mo Qingyun and said, Mr. Mo, I know that the beauties beside you are not weak. That's why you have the confidence to be so arrogant. Therefore, I've decided to deal with you personally. Later, I'll let the 3 of you die with honor. Hearing Han Liu's words, Mo Qingyun did not take it to heart. He turned to Qian Linglong and Qian Hongwang and said, Recently, your strength has increased rapidly. Although you have been fighting with others to get used to your increased strength, your opponents are too weak. Han Liu is a good opponent. You can use him to familiarize yourself with your strength. Okay. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qian Linglong and Qian Hongwang immediately nodded, and a strong fighting spirit rose within them. Then, 2 auras that surpassed the advanced sage stage were released from Qian Linglong and Qian Hongwang. 2 advanced sage stage experts. Sensing Qian Linglong and Qian Hongwang's aura, Han Liu's face twitched and his expression turned serious. It was easy for him to deal with 1 advanced sage stage expert. However, it was a little troublesome to deal with 2 of them. More importantly, Qian Linglong and Qian Hongwang gave him the feeling that they were not ordinary advanced sage stage experts. Although they were all advanced sage stage experts, there was a huge gap in their strength. They could not be lumped together. The 2 ladies beside Mr. Mo are both advanced sage stage experts. That's great. With their help, the Demon God Pavilion will definitely return empty-handed this time. Fortunately, we did not offend Mr. Mo otherwise. We would really be finished this time. Seeing Qian Linglong and Qian Hongwang's strength, Qian Hongwang and the others were overjoyed and felt lucky. Among them, the strongest was only at the intermediate sage stage. If they were to face a great perfection sage stage expert and 2 advanced sage stage experts working together to attack them, just imagining such a situation was enough to make them feel terrified. Under the gaze of Qian Hongwang and the others, Qian Linglong and Qian Hongwang moved and charged toward Han Liu. When Qian Linglong and Qian Hongwang attacked, several Saint Power Star clusters appeared on their bodies and emitted a wave of Saint Power. They did not use all of their strength immediately. It seemed that they wanted to adapt to their strength bit by bit. Humph! Seeing Qian Linglong and Qian Hongwang's attack, Han Liu snorted coldly and charged toward them. Soon, the 3 of them were fighting, causing an earth-shattering commotion. While everyone was fighting, Han Yi had nothing to do. He could not help but look at Mo Qingyun. Boy, the 2 beauties beside you have already fought with my father. Now, no one can protect you. Han Yi's cultivation was at the early sage stage. In his opinion, without Qian Linglong and Qian Hongwang's protection, Mo Qingyun would be at his mercy. As soon as Han Yi finished speaking, he flew toward Mo Qingyun and sneered. When I capture you, I will use you to threaten the two beauties. The scene will be very interesting. Oh no, Hanya is going to deal with Mr. Mo. Seeing Hanya's action, Qian Hongguang's expression changed drastically. A worried look appeared on his face. Immediately, he moved and prepared to protect Mo Qingyan. Chapter 2169. This is bad. If Mr. Mo is captured by Han Yi, his two friends will definitely be worried. Seeing that his path was blocked, Thousand Rainbow Cauldron's expression turned serious. He felt a strong sense of worry and thought to himself, without his two friends holding Han Liu back, we won't be able to resist Han Liu at all. We'll only end up being slaughtered. Thousand Rainbow Cauldron wasn't the only one worried when he saw Han Yi going to deal with Mo Qingyan. Qian Hongguang and the others were also worried. Quick, quick, stop Han Yi. We can't let him hurt Mr. Mo. We were too careless. We didn't expect Han Yi to be so insidious. He actually attacked Mr. Mo. With Mr. Mo's cultivation at the second level of the Nine Heavens mystic immortal realm, if Han Yi gets close to him, he can only wait to be killed. I hope Mr. Mo has some kind of trump card that can hold on for a while until we go to help him. Seeing Mo Qingyun's situation, Qian Hongguang and the others were anxious. They frantically approached Mo Qingyun. At this moment, they couldn't care less about their own lives. They only wanted to protect Mo Qingyun's safety. They had no choice. The survival of the entire Thousand Rainbow Manor was tied to Mo Qingyun. Therefore, he couldn't let anything happen to him. Under the frenzied attack of Qian Hongguang and the others, the people of the Demon God Pavilion immediately broke through the blockade. Although Qian Hongguang and the others broke through the blockade, it was a little too late to stop Han Yi. Mo Qingyun, no one can save you today. Looking at Qian Hongguang and the others rushing towards him, Han Yi sneered. He raised his hand and grabbed at Mo Qingyun. A surge of terrifying saint power blasted out from Han Ye's palm and turned into a huge palm shadow. Mo Qingyun didn't react to Han Ye's attack at all. He stood calmly in place. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Thousand Rainbow Cauldron and the others immediately turned pale. They all revealed expressions of despair. It's over. The difference in strength is too great. Mr. Mo can't even react. Could it be that our Thousand Rainbow Manor is going to become history today? It's all because of that brat Han Yi. If it wasn't for him, things wouldn't have turned out like this. Qian Hongguang and the others blamed themselves and felt a sense of regret. Compared to the mood of Qian Hongguang and the others, Han Ye's heart was filled with joy. He proudly said, Mo Qingyun, you don't have a woman to protect you. You're just a useless piece of trash. When I capture you, I'll use you to threaten the two beauties. The scene should be very exciting. Thank you for reminding me. Hearing Han Ye's words, Mo Qingyun's expression changed. A faint smile appeared on his face as he said, if I capture you and then use you to threaten Han Liu, that should be a good thing. Before Han Yi could react, Mo Qingyun blasted a palm at him. Then, an aura that was not weaker than Han Liu's erupted from Mo Qingyun's body. So strong. Sensing Mo Qingyun's aura, Han Ye's body trembled and his face twitched. He couldn't be that strong. How could Mo Qingyun be so strong? He wasn't much weaker than Han Liu. Boom! Just as Han Yi was about to explode, a huge black palm image smashed into him. After being hit by Mo Qingyun's palm, Han Yi was immediately sent flying. He kept spitting out blood from his mouth. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people were all dumbfounded. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. Am I seeing this right? Han Yi was sent flying? Is this the work of young Master Mo? Could he be hiding his cultivation? The aura that Mr. Mo released just now was comparable to that of a late-stage Sage Realm expert. This must be an illusion. How can a second-stage, Nine Heavens, Xian Immortal have the strength of a late-stage Sage Realm expert? Why do you care so much? As long as Mr. Mo is fine, it's fine. Yes, as long as he's fine, as long as he's fine. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron and the others were shocked. At the same time, they were also happy. Mo Qingyun wasn't captured by Han Yi. Qian Linglong and the other two girls didn't have to worry and could continue to fight Han Liu. Under everyone's shocked gaze, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and quickly caught up with Han Yi. Mo Qingyun caught up to Han Yi. He raised his hand and grabbed at Han Yi, directly grabbing him by the neck. Then, Han Yi was captured in Mo Qingyun's hands like a little chick. Mo Qingyun's actions had a huge impact. It immediately attracted Han Liu's attention. Yeah, seeing that Han Yi had been captured, Han Liu's expression immediately changed. His face darkened as he said angrily, Mo Qingyun, you despicable and sinister villain. You actually hid your cultivation and deliberately set a trap for my son. In Han Liu's opinion, if Mo Qingyun hadn't hidden his cultivation, he definitely wouldn't be a match for Han Yi. Hearing Han Liu's words, Mo Qingyun shook his head and replied, Pavilion Master Han, in terms of despicability, shamelessness, and treachery, I'm far inferior to you and your father. If you hadn't schemed against me again and again, I wouldn't have retaliated like this. Han Liu was speechless. Mo Qingyun's words were true. They were indeed the ones who schemed against Mo Qingyun first. Seeing Han Liu's silence, Mo Qingyun revealed a helpless expression and shrugged. Moreover, I didn't hide my cultivation. My cultivation is indeed at the second level of the 9 heavens Xian immortal realm. Impossible. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Han Yi, who was captured by Mo Qingyun, immediately retorted angrily. If you're at the second level of the 9 heavens Xian immortal realm, how can you have the strength of a late-stage, saint-stage expert? What's impossible about that? You can't do it, but it doesn't mean that others can't. Han Liu, don't say that I didn't give you a chance. If you submit to me now, I can spare the lives of you and your father. Mo Qingyun didn't care about Han Yi's question at all. You want me to submit to you? Hearing Mo Qingyun's request, Han Liu's expression turned ferocious. He was so angry that his entire body trembled. In his opinion, Mo Qingyun's words were clearly a form of humiliation to him. However, Han Yi was now captured by Mo Qingyun, so he couldn't help but have misgivings. Seeing that Han Liu didn't speak for a long time, Mo Qingyun nodded to Qian Linglong and Qian Linglong and said, Linglong, the two of you don't have to hide your strength. Spar with Pavilion Master Han with all your strength. Let him know that he has no other choice. Okay. Hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Qian Linglong and Qian Linglong responded and no longer concealed their strength. Following that, the number of star clusters on the two women's bodies instantly increased to 25. At the same time, the aura released by Qian Linglong and Qian Linglong increased by several times. Seeing this scene, Han Liu's face immediately sank, and his body began to tremble violently. Chapter 2170. It turns out that compared to Han Liu, Mr. Mo is the scariest. It seems that Mr. Mo wasn't bluffing when he said that he would rob the Demon God Pavilion. Han Liu is no match for Mr. Mo and the other two when they join forces. Sensing the change in Qian Linglong and the other two girls, the Rainbow Cauldron and the others were shocked. They had already predicted the result. Under the joint forces of Mo Qingyun and the other two, Han Liu could only bow down and be slaughtered. Qian Linglong and the other two girls showed their full strength. They did not hesitate and immediately attacked Han Liu. Under the joint forces of Qian Linglong and the other two girls, the pressure on Han Liu immediately increased. He was in a situation where he was beaten up. Seeing that Han Liu was in a situation where he was beaten up, the experts of the Demon God Pavilion immediately lost their morale. They could see that the Demon God Pavilion was doomed and would be destroyed in the hands of Mo Qingyun. It seems that Linglong and the other two girls are qualified to fight with a great attainment of the Saint Realm, but it will be difficult for them to win. Looking at the scene of Qian Linglong and the other two girls fighting, Mo Qingyun knew the strength of Qian Linglong and the other two girls. Of course, the great attainment of the Saint Realm that Mo Qingyun was referring to was people like Han Liu. If he was an extremely powerful great attainment of the Saint Realm, Qian Linglong and the other two girls' strength would be far from him. These two girls are too strong. If we continue fighting, I might be killed by them. After seeing the strength of Qian Linglong and the other two girls, Han Liu's expression turned serious. After thinking about it, Han Liu no longer hesitated and made a ruthless decision. Yi, don't worry. They won't be able to run away. I will avenge you, Han Liu said ruthlessly. He did not want to stay any longer and was ready to escape. Hearing Han Liu's words, Han Ye's body trembled and a pleading expression appeared on his face. Father, don't leave me behind. I don't want to die. Don't worry. He won't be able to escape. Seeing that Han Liu was about to run for his life, Emo Qingyun smiled at Han Yi. A red light flashed in his left eye. Then, a flame mark with a terrifying aura blasted out from his left eye. As soon as the flame mark appeared, it disappeared in a flash and instantly blasted into Han Liu's sea of consciousness. After being hit by Mo Qingyun's soul attack, Han Liu immediately screamed and spat out a mouthful of blood. He said in horror, This is the fire of civilization. You actually activated the fire of civilization. This discovery frightened Han Liu, making him even more fearful of Mo Qingyun. Bang bang. While Han Liu was distracted, Qian Linglong and the other ladies' attacks landed on him. After being attacked by Qian Linglong and Qian Linglong, Han Liu was immediately sent flying. He heavily fell to the ground and crashed into a row of buildings. Father, Pavilion Master. Seeing that Han Liu was sent flying, Han Yi and the others panicked. Their expressions became tense. Han Liu was their hope of survival. Now that even Han Liu was no match for the other party, they could only submit or die. After Qian Linglong and Qian Linglong and Qian Linglong sent Han Liu flying, they were not in a hurry to attack again. They just looked down at Han Liu. Pavilion Master Han, have you made up your mind? Looking at Han Liu in the ruins, Mo Qingyun's expression was indifferent. He asked Han Liu again. When Mo Qingyun spoke, a murderous aura was released from his body. It seemed that if Han Liu dared to refuse, he would not hesitate to kill him. Under Mo Qingyun's murderous aura, Han Liu's body immediately trembled and he felt his heart palpitate. He was sure that Mo Qingyun really wanted to kill him. He was not just trying to scare him. I can't believe that Han Liu, would end up like this. Han Liu sighed and put on a helpless expression. He looked at Mo Qingyun with a complicated expression and said, You can draw the fire of civilization into your body. Perhaps you will become the master of civilization in the future. It is not shameful to acknowledge someone like you as my master. I am willing to submit to you. After Han Liu finished speaking, he knelt down on one knee before Mo Qingyun to express his attitude. Father, you. Seeing Han Liu's actions, Han Yi was immediately stunned. He could not believe that this was real. For an existence as powerful as his father to actually choose to submit to Mo Qingyun, this kind of matter had a huge impact on him. The Pavilion Master submitted to this brat. Why would the Pavilion Master do that? Mr. Mo is really powerful. In the blink of an eye, he has gained another powerful subordinate. Things are really unpredictable. If I didn't see it with my own eyes, who would have thought that the result would be like this? Just now, Han Liu said that Mo Qingyun triggered the fire of civilization. Could he be the reincarnation of the master of civilization? It's hard to say, but no matter what, Mr. Mo is not someone we can offend. Seeing Han Liu's actions, the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron and the others whispered among themselves. Their evaluation of Mo Qingyun increased. While the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron and the others were whispering, Mo Qingyun had subdued Han Liu and planted a soul brand in his sea of consciousness. Mo Qingyun had subdued Han Liu, so he handed Han Yi over. He shook his head and said, Originally, I was planning to use you to threaten Han Liu. Who would have thought that he would actually decide to abandon you? How disappointing. After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he shook his head and no longer paid any attention to Han Yi. Han Liu, take him back to the Demon God Pavilion. I will go there later. After releasing Han Yi, Mo Qingyun turned his head to look at Han Liu and warned him, "Don't worry." Hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Han Liu did not dare to hesitate. He immediately led his men back to the Demon God Pavilion. Seeing Han Liu and the others leave, the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron and the others relaxed. Their hearts were completely at ease. After dealing with the Demon God Pavilion's attack, Mo Qingyun walked toward the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron and the others. He said, "Elder Qian Hongguang, immediately gather all the elders of the Thousand Rainbow Manor and gather them in the Thousand Rainbow Manor's meeting hall. I have something to tell you." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qian Hongguang frowned. His heart immediately sank. As far as he was concerned, Mo Qingyun telling him this might be because he wanted to subdue Thousand Rainbow Manor. Yes, although he was unwilling, considering Mo Qingyun's strength, Qian Hongguang still nodded and agreed. There was no other way. Even the powerful demon God Pavilion was afraid. What else could Thousand Rainbow Manor resist? Before long, all the elders of Thousand Rainbow Manor had gathered in the conference hall. When the crowd arrived at the conference hall, they began to whisper and discuss Mo Qingyun in low voices. Mo Qingyun did not pay attention to everyone's behavior. He raised his hand and pointed at Qian Linglong beside him and said, "What I want to say is very simple. Miss Linglong beside me is the holy maiden of 1,000 illusions." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the hall immediately went into an uproar. Everyone's eyes widened. Chapter 2171. What? Miss Linglong is the saintess? This can't be true, right? This is the bloodline power of 1,000 illusions. It's much stronger than ours. It's really the bloodline of 1,000 illusions. It seems like Mr. Mo wasn't joking. No wonder Mr. Mo came to help us. Miss Linglong is the saintess. This explains it. We were too disrespectful to have doubted the saintess. Fortunately, the saintess didn't hold it against us. After hearing Mo Qingyun's words and sensing Qian Linglong's bloodline power, Qian Hongguang and the others came to a realization. At this moment, the doubts in their hearts were finally resolved. Seeing that her identity was exposed, Qian Linglong didn't say anything else. She immediately said to Qian Hongguang and the others, "Before I came to Thousand Rainbow City, I've already saved Thousand Moon City and Thousand Language City. Later, we'll set up a teleportation formation in Thousand Rainbow Manor to connect the three cities so that you can look after each other." Hearing Qian Linglong's words, the expressions of Qian Hongguang and the others changed again. They were also excited. If Thousand Rainbow Manor set up a teleportation formation, the three cities would be closely connected and their defense would be doubled. Currently, Thousand Rainbow Manor doesn't have a master. This isn't a long-term plan. I'll help you choose a master first. Looking at the shocked faces of Qian Hongguang and the others, Qian Linglong's expression became serious. She said, "Based on my previous observation, I found that Elder Qian Hongguang is very calm and sees things clearly. I've decided to let him be the new master. Do you have any objections?" Hearing Qian Linglong's words, Qian Hongguang and the others' expressions changed. They all looked at each other. Previously, Qian Hongguang was basically in charge of some matters in Thousand Rainbow Manor. He was already the new master. However, Qian Linglong now said that she would let Qian Hongguang become the master. This surprised them. However, considering Qian Hongguang's previous performance, they didn't have any objections. They didn't think that there was anything wrong with it. When the Demon God Pavilion attacked, if Qian Hongguang hadn't stopped everyone, Thousand Rainbow Manor might have already ceased to exist. We have no objections. Although they were surprised by Qian Linglong's decision, Qian Hongguang and the others had no objections and accepted her arrangement. After assigning the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron as the clan master, Qian Linglong did not stop talking. She continued to instruct Qian Hong and the others on other matters. Meanwhile, Mo Qingyun nodded towards the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron and said, "Thousand Rainbow Cauldron's patriarch, help me find a place. I want to set up a teleportation formation there." You set up a formation. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron's expression froze, feeling somewhat incredulous. He could not believe that Mo Qingyun was really an array master. The King Devourer was not lying. "Mr. Mo, please come with me." After a brief moment of shock, the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron immediately made an inviting gesture and led the way for Mo Qingyun. It wasn't long before Mo Qingyun arrived before an ancient palace under the guidance of the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron. This palace gave off the feeling that it had existed for tens of millions of years. It was filled with an ancient aura. What surprised Mo Qingyun even more was that there was actually a damaged teleportation formation in this palace. "Mr. Mo, before this teleportation formation was destroyed, you could teleport to any of the major branches of the 1,000 illusions." Seeing that Mo Qingyun was looking at the teleportation formation, the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron explained simply and continued. "In the past, this palace was built for teleportation. If you want to set up a teleportation formation, this should be the most suitable place." Hearing the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron's words, Mo Qingyun nodded. His gaze did not leave the damaged teleportation formation. As Mo Qingyun continued to size up the teleportation formation, his expression became more and more excited. He said in surprise, "This teleportation formation's grade is extremely high. Although a part of it is damaged, it might not be impossible to restore it to its original state." "Really?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron's expression shook, and a look of pleasant surprise appeared on its face. This news was too sudden and unexpected for it. Suppressing the surprise in its heart, the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron put on a respectful expression and said, "Mr. Mo, tell me what you need to repair the teleportation formation as soon as possible. I'll prepare it for you immediately." "Okay." Mo Qingyun nodded. He took out a bee skin scroll and wrote down what he needed. Not long after, Mo Qingyun finished writing and handed the bee skin scroll to the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron. After receiving the bee skin scroll from Mo Qingyun, the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron did not delay at all and immediately went to prepare the materials for setting up the formation. When the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron went to prepare the materials, Mo Qingyun summoned Long and the other two to help him repair the formation. After that, Mo Qingyun and the other three discussed and researched how to repair the formation by the side of the teleportation formation. Several hours later, the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron came to Mo Qingyun's side and prepared all the materials that Mo Qingyun needed to set up the formation without missing a single bit. Sacred Formation Master Long, Sacred Formation Master Yinpeng, and Sacred Formation Master Yu. When the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron saw Long and the other two, it was immediately shocked. It could not believe what it was seeing. Long and the other two were all well-known Sacred Formation Masters. It had long heard of them, but it did not expect to see them here. More importantly, from the actions of Long and the other two, it seemed that they were very respectful of Mo Qingyun. Mr. Mo's true identity is probably even more honorable than I imagined. Could he really be the reincarnation of the Master of Civilization? The Thousand Rainbow Cauldron's mind spun, and the way it looked at Mo Qingyun underwent a great change. Then, the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron respectfully handed the materials to Mo Qingyun. After giving the materials to Mo Qingyun, the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron did not stay any longer and left the ancient hall. Mo Qingyun did not mind the Thousand Rainbow Cauldron's departure and began to repair the ancient teleportation formation. While Mo Qingyun repaired the ancient teleportation formation, Linglong led the people of Thousand Rainbow Manor to clean up the hidden dangers of Thousand Rainbow City. In the blink of an eye, nearly 10 days had passed. With the efforts of Mo Qingyun and the other three, the ancient teleportation formation of Thousand Rainbow Manor was finally repaired. "Master, this teleportation formation is of a very high grade. Even without a teleportation formation, you can teleport to anywhere. With this teleportation formation, go to other places will be easy. You won't have to worry about getting lost during the teleportation." Once you reach the place you're told to set up a teleportation formation, you'll be able to teleport back and forth as you please. After the teleportation formation was repaired, Long and the other two sighed emotionally as they described the powerful effects of the teleportation formation. Qingyun smiled faintly when he heard Long and the other two's words. With the help of this teleportation formation, the speed of subduing the Thousand Illusion Clan will increase infinitely. Since the teleportation formation is repaired, it's time to leave Thousand Rainbow Manor. Qingyun muttered to himself. He did not stay any longer and turned to leave the ancient hall. Chapter 2172. After a while, Qingyun returned to his residence and saw Qianling and Qianling. After resolving the hidden danger of Thousand Rainbow City, the two women had been cultivating here while waiting for Qingyun to repair the array. Qingyun, you're back. Is the array repaired? Seeing that Qingyun had returned, Qianling was overjoyed and went to welcome Qingyun. Yes. Hearing Qianling's question, Qingyun nodded. He walked to the pavilion and sat down. He said, I'm here to discuss with you which city to go to next. Do you have any good suggestions? Qianling did not answer Qingyun's question. Instead, she asked a question. Thousand Rainbow Manor's ancient teleportation array can teleport you to anywhere. It doesn't matter which city you go to. Thinking about the power of Thousand Rainbow Manor's teleportation array, Qingyun replied casually. He continued, with the help of this teleportation array, the time you need to subdue the 1,000 illusions will be greatly reduced. That's great. Hearing Qingyun's words, Qianling was overjoyed. She made a decision and said Thousand Star City is closer. Let's go to Thousand Star City first. Then let's go to Thousand Star City first. Hearing Qianling's decision, Qingyun nodded and confirmed their next destination. Next, Qingyun chatted with the two women for a while more before leaving the courtyard. After Qingyun left his residence, he went to find Zhongling and the others to ask about the progress of the Precious Treasure Pavilion's reopening. With the efforts of Zhongling and the others, the Precious Treasure Pavilion had already reopened. Qingyun was very satisfied with this. After dealing with the matters of the Precious Treasure Pavilion, Qingyun went to the Demon God Pavilion. He was prepared to give Han Leo some instructions before leaving. After a while, Qingyun arrived at the Demon God Pavilion and found Han Leo under the guidance of a disciple. Greetings, Master. Seeing Qingyun arrive, Han Leo showed a respectful expression and quickly bowed to Qingyun. In response to Han Leo and the rest's greetings, Qingyun indifferently waved his hand and said, No need for such formalities. I have come to the Demon God Pavilion today because I have some instructions for you. Master, please speak. Han Leo bent down and stood respectfully beside Qingyun, waiting for Qingyun's orders. Seeing Han Leo's performance, Qingyun nodded in satisfaction and said, In order for the 1,000 illusions to be able to teleport between the various cities, I need to set up a large number of teleportation arrays. My purpose here is to take away the materials from the Fey Celestial Pavilion to set up the teleportation arrays in the future. This subordinate will go and get the materials for setting up the array. Upon hearing Qingyun's instructions, Han Leo immediately understood and went to retrieve the array formation materials from the Demon God's Pavilion. An hour later, Han Leo returned to Qingyun's side and took out a storage bracelet. He handed it to Qingyun and said, Master, the array formation materials from the Fey Celestial Pavilion are all in this storage bracelet. Okay. After receiving the storage bracelet from Han Leo, Qingyun nodded in satisfaction and said, Go and inform the disciples. After that, you will leave Thousand Rainbow City with me to conquer the other cities. Although Han Leo was not a true divine, he was still at the Sage Realm great perfection. His battle strength was not to be underestimated. He would be a great help if Qingyun took him along. It would make Qingyun less worried. Yes. Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Han Liu immediately instructed the disciples to assign some tasks. Not long after, Han Liu finished dealing with everything, and he left with Mo Qingyun. After leaving the Fey Celestial Pavilion, Mo Qingyun returned to the Thousand Rainbow Manor and set off with Qian Linglong and Qian Linglong. Several hours later, on a mountain peak in the Thousand Star City, 4 figures flashed and appeared here. These 4 figures were Mo Qingyun and the other 3 who had rushed over. Master, we are now standing on the Wan Star Peak. In front of us is the Thousand Star City. Standing on a mountain peak, Han Liu reported the location and pointed to the east. Following the direction Han Liu was pointing, Mo Qingyun could vaguely see a small city. Without the connection of the teleportation array, it is indeed difficult to pinpoint the location of the teleportation array. Seeing where he was now, Mo Qingyun could not help but sigh. He was not satisfied with the location of the teleportation array. Mo Qingyun sighed inwardly. He no longer hesitated and immediately flew toward the Thousand Star City. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Qian Linglong and the other 2 hurriedly followed and flew toward the Thousand Star City. Not long after, Mo Qingyun and the others arrived at the Thousand Star City and rushed directly to the Thousand Star Mansion. When Mo Qingyun arrived at the Thousand Star Mansion, he could not help but be a little dumbfounded. He was shocked by the appearance of the Thousand Star Mansion. The Thousand Star Mansion was too small. Compared to the Thousand Rainbow Manor, it was a stark contrast. More importantly, the Thousand Star Mansion did not even have a protective array. It was full of signs of destruction. Let's go in. After taking a look at the Thousand Star Mansion, Mo Qingyun walked into the mansion. He did not want to hide anything anymore. With the strength of the Thousand Star Mansion, he had nothing to worry about. He could just directly subdue it. Seeing that there were people coming to stop them, Mo Qingyun and the others released some of their auras and forced the guards to retreat. Seeing the strength of Mo Qingyun and the others, the guards did not dare to stop them and immediately went to report the news. Not long after, the powerhouses of the Thousand Star Mansion all arrived in front of Mo Qingyun. To Mo Qingyun and Qian Linglong's disappointment, there was not a single Saint Stage powerhouse in the entire Thousand Star Mansion. It had to be said that the Thousand Star Mansion had really declined. Who are you? Looking at Mo Qingyun and the others in front of him, a middle-aged man in the Thousand Star City questioned with a cold expression. Hearing this middle-aged man's words, Qian Linglong did not waste any time talking nonsense with him. She directly took out a token and activated her bloodline power. Saintess token. She actually has the Saintess token. This is the bloodline power of the 1,000 illusions. What a powerful bloodline grade. Her bloodline grade is so powerful, and she has the Saintess token. Could she be Saintess? Seeing Qian Linglong's actions, the people of the Thousand Star Mansion immediately guessed her identity. Then, they bowed respectfully to Qian Linglong. Qian Linglong waved her hand indifferently in response to their actions and asked, "What happened? How did the Thousand Star Mansion become like this? There's not even a single Saint Stage powerhouse." Hearing Qian Linglong's question, the faces of the people of the Thousand Star Mansion darkened, revealing a dejected and sorrowful expression. "Saintess, seniors, I'll tell you the details of what happened to the Thousand Star Mansion in the mansion." A middle-aged man called Qian Xingyan waved his hand at Mo Qingyun and the others, indicating for them to sit down in the mansion. Chapter 2173. Shortly after, in the meeting hall of the Thousand Star Mansion. After bringing Mo Qingyun and the others into the meeting hall, the Thousand Star Silhouette no longer hesitated and immediately told them about the Thousand Star Mansion's encounter. After listening to the Thousand Star Silhouette story, Mo Qingyun understood why there were no Saint Stage powerhouses in the Thousand Star Mansion. It turned out that the Saint Stage powerhouses of the Thousand Star Mansion had all chosen to die rather than submit when faced with the Dark Devil race's recruitment and suppression. In the end, they had angered the Dark Devil race and killed all of them. Perhaps the Dark Devil race felt that since the Saint stage powerhouses had been killed, the remaining clansmen were no longer a concern. However, what puzzled the Thousand Star Silhouette and the others was that the Dark Devil race had suddenly retreated not long after occupying the Thousand Star City. Mo Qingyun was very clear about this and knew why it was like this. I hope the other branches won't suffer the same fate as the Thousand Star branch. After learning about the Thousand Star Mansion's encounter, Qian Linglong couldn't help but sigh as a sense of anticipation rose in her heart. It was a good thing that her clansmen would rather die than submit, but fearless sacrifices were something she didn't want to see. Thousand Star Tatar Patriarch, in order for your branches to take care of each other, I want to set up a teleportation formation in the Thousand Star Mansion. After learning about the Thousand Star Mansion situation, Mo Qingyun didn't want to waste any more time and immediately instructed the Thousand Star Silhouette. Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the Thousand Star Silhouette's expression immediately lit up, and he hurriedly arranged a place to set up the formation. The Thousand Star Mansion was currently at its weakest stage. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to describe it as a candle in the wind. It would be best if the other branches could take care of it. After a while, under the Thousand Star Silhouette's arrangement, Mo Qingyun found a place to set up the formation. Since the Thousand Star Mansion's protective formation had been destroyed when the Dark Devil race attacked, it needed to be repaired. With this, Mo Qingyun split up the work with Shui Long and the other two. When you set up the teleportation formation, while Shui Long and Yin Peng repaired the protective formation. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. After half a month, the protective formation and teleportation formation of the Thousand Star Mansion were finally set up. After setting up the teleportation array, Mo Qingyun instructed Han Liu to move the Demon God Pavilion to the Thousand Star City. Since the Thousand Star Mansion was too weak, it was better to move the Demon God Pavilion here to ensure its safety. If they encountered any danger, the Demon God Pavilion could also send reinforcements to help the Thousand Star Mansion. After dealing with the matters in the Thousand Star City, Mo Qingyun and the others left and rushed to the next branch. Following this, Mo Qingyun and the others went to one branch after another like this. Unknowingly, a year had passed. After a year of hard work, all the branches of 1,000 illusions were finally conquered by Qian Linglong. As long as the main clan was taken over, the entire 1,000 illusions would be taken over by Qian Linglong. In the past year, other than reclaiming the various branches, Mo Qingyun and the other strength had also improved greatly. Mo Qingyun's current strength had already broken through to the 4th level of the 9 Heavens Mystic Immortal Realm, and he had also condensed 8 Saint Power Star clusters. With Mo Qingyun's tireless help, the Saint Power Star clusters condensed by Qian Linglong and Qian Linglong had all reached a limit. Qian Linglong had condensed a total of 87 Saint Power Star clusters, and King Devourer was even more terrifying. He had condensed a total of 106 Saint Power Star clusters. Now, the strength of the two of them had increased several times compared to before, and they could not be compared at all. With Han Liu's cultivation at the Sage Perfection Realm, he could not even last 3 moves against King Devourer. Regarding this matter, Han Liu had suffered a huge blow, and his mood was extremely gloomy. It was precisely because of this that Han Liu completely put away his arrogance and was even more in awe of Mo Qingyun and trusted him. He could only admit that he was unlucky to have encountered Mo Qingyun and the other 2 monsters. He had no choice but to admit defeat. Qianhe City, the city closest to the main clan, was very close to it. At this moment, in a courtyard of Qianhe Mansion in Qianhe City, Mo Qingyun and the other 3 sat together, discussing the next steps and how to take back the main clan. After more than a year, we finally reached this step. Thinking about the hard work of the past year, Mo Qingyun could not help but sigh, and a look of anticipation appeared on his face. He said, "Next, as long as we drive the Dark Demon race out of the main clan, we can completely take back the 1,000 illusions." "Qingyun, thank you." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qian Linglong was touched. She thanked Mo Qingyun and said, "If not for your help, it would be too difficult for me to take back the 1,000 illusions by myself." Qian Linglong knew very well that, with her strength alone, she could not deal with the dark demon race. She did not even have full confidence in dealing with someone like Han Liu. Before she had condensed the Saint Power Star cluster, she was not Han Liu's match. Putting aside her personal strength, just the teleportation formations set up by the various branches were enough to give her a headache. "Between you and me, there's no need to thank me." Hearing Qian Linglong's words, Mo Qingyun showed a gentle expression and shook his head with a faint smile. He said, "Although it's much easier to take back the branches after the dark demon race retreated, it's not easy to take back the main clan. This will be a tough battle." Mo Qingyun knew very well that the easier it was to take back the branches, the harder it would be to take back the main clan. More importantly, in his opinion, Zi Yunxiao was a difficult opponent. At least, Zi Ling could not compare to him. In the past year, Zi Yunxiao did not react at all when he took back the branches. This was enough proof. Of course, Mo Qingyun did not know that the main reason Zi Yunxiao did not make a move was that he was refining the bloodline. "Although I don't know what Zi Yunxiao is planning, we can't let our guard down." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qian Linglong's pretty face tensed up, and her mood became much heavier. Although she had been looking forward to this moment, when it finally arrived, she was still a little nervous. At this moment, while Mo Qingyun and the others were discussing, the main clan of the 1,000 Illusions was in chaos. A young man with a cold expression killed his way into the dark demon race's inner area in a domineering manner. If Mo Qingyun was here, he would definitely recognize this young man. It was Chao Xiong, who had escaped earlier. After a year of cultivation, Chao Xiong's current strength was even more terrifying than before. When he attacked, the number of Saint Power Star clusters on his body had increased by nearly 2 times compared to before. Faced with Chao Xiong's crazy suppression, the dark demon race could not resist at all. They were all sent flying like chickens and pottery dogs. When the dark demon race powerhouses were sent flying, a young man in a golden robe walked out of a palace. "The Yunxiao Saint has come out of seclusion." Seeing the young man in the golden robe appear, the dark demon race powerhouses all smiled in pleasant surprise. Under everyone's gaze, Zi Yunxiao looked at Chao Xiong and said in an imperial tone, "Sir, it's better to have one more friend than one more enemy. I advise you to quit while you're ahead." Seeing that the food and wine had been prepared, Zi Yunxiao, who was sitting at the very top of the hall, raised his wine cup to Chao Xiong and said, "I am Zi Yunxiao, the third holy son of the dark demon race. May I know your name?" Chao Xiong. Hearing Zi Yunxiao's question, Chao Xiong directly stated his name without hiding anything. Knowing Chao Xiong's name, Zi Yunxiao revealed a curious expression and asked, "Brother Chao, with your cultivation and strength, you shouldn't be a nameless nobody. May I know where your sect of cultivation is?" Hearing Zi Yunxiao's words, a trace of a sinister smile appeared on Chao Xiong's face. He said, "Holy Son Yunxiao, to be honest, I was once under your jurisdiction. I was one of the thousands of Zimming you controlled." "Oh, there's such a thing?" Zi Yunxiao was stunned. The curiosity in his heart grew even stronger. He hurriedly said, "Brother Chao, hearing you say this makes me even more curious. I didn't know that there was such a peerless expert under my jurisdiction." Under Zi Yunxiao's curious gaze, Chao Xiong organized his words and said, "The previous owner of this body of mine was the son-in-law of the 1,000 Rainbow Manors Patriarch. Tell me, was I under your jurisdiction in the past?" "So that's how it is." After Chao Xiong's explanation, a look of realization appeared on Zi Yunxiao's face. He laughed loudly and said, "Now that you've said it, that's really the case." When Zi Yunxiao's words fell, his brows knitted tightly together as he said in surprise, "Brother Chao, the previous owner of this body of yours was the son-in-law of the 1,000 Rainbow Manors Patriarch in the past. You leaving the Thousand Rainbow Manor now? Could it be related to Mo Qingyun? In Zi Yunxiao's view, Mo Qingyun controlling the Thousand Rainbow Manor would surely eliminate all dissidents. With Chao Xiong's status, how could he be willing to submit to Mo Qingyun? His departure was virtually inevitable. What terrifying deductive abilities! Hearing Zi Yunxiao's question, Chao Xiong immediately revealed astonishment, his pair of eyes staring wide. He did not think that Zi Yunxiao could analyze so much information in a short few words. This kind of deductive ability was seriously too terrifying. Discovering that Zi Yunxiao was not simple, Chao Xiong's gaze when looking at him underwent a tremendous change. At the same time, Chao Xiong also secretly raised some vigilance against Zi Yunxiao in his heart. He had no choice but to be careful when dealing with Zi Yunxiao, lest he unknowingly sold him out. That's right. The reason I left the Thousand Rainbow Manor is indeed related to Mo Qingyun. Seeing that Zi Yunxiao had guessed it, Chao Xiong did not hide it and nodded honestly. He asked curiously, Saint Sun Yunxiao, you seem to know Mo Qingyun very well. Could it be that you know him? You're saying that I know Mo Qingyun? Zi Yunxiao's expression was slightly stunned. Following that, a faint smile appeared on his face as he shook his head. No, I don't know him. I've never met him before. However, his confidant, Qian Linglong, was once heavily injured by me and nearly died at my hands. Thus, I crossed paths with him. So that's how it is. After hearing Zi Yunxiao's explanation, Chao Xiong revealed a look of understanding. He knew the relationship between the two. From the looks of it, the enmity between these two people was not ordinary. In a courtyard in Thousand City, a middle-aged man hurried over. This person was the patriarch of the Thousand Manor, Qian Xiang. Qian Xiang arrived in front of Mo Qingyun. He revealed a serious expression and reported, Mr. Mo, the clansmen who were scouting for information just reported that not long ago, there was a fierce battle in the main clan. Many Saint Realm experts of the Dark Demon tribe were heavily injured by a mysterious expert. There was such a thing? Hearing Qian Xiang's report, Mo Qingyun's expression was one of shock. Intense shock appeared on his face. After calming down the shock in his heart, Mo Qingyun's expression became nervous. He asked, what happened after that? Did the Dark Demon tribe retreat? Did Zi Yunxiao show himself? The people from the Dark Demon clan did not retreat. After Zi Yunxiao appeared, that person was invited to the residence. After reporting the information he had received, Qian Xiang's expression became serious. He developed a strong sense of worry and said, Mr. Mo, what if that expert was recruited by the Dark Demon tribe? If we want to deal with the Dark Demon tribe, the difficulty will increase infinitely. What should we do now? Don't be anxious. Let me think about it. Seeing Qian Xiang's expression, Mo Qingyun stretched out his hand and comforted him. Then he said, how about this? I'll personally make a trip to the main clan and investigate the specific situation there. After that, we'll decide what to do.